WHW Monday. And now, let's go to the ring. And here's your co-host. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm okay, man. I'm okay. I'm getting ready to, well, let's see. As this drops, I'm getting ready to embark on.
You're getting ready to come back, right?
Well, actually, I'm going to be in California, getting ready to embark on a little California excursion. And as with this drops tonight, we are going to be in at the Forum. And here's the odd thing. I haven't been to the Forum since the old JCP days when I was ring announcing back then. How about that?
That's back when the Lakers were like the Lakers.
Yeah, exactly. It's back in the day, man.
Did you watch that HBO show Winning Time?
No.
Go out of your way to watch it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
If you like old school basketball, I highly recommend it. And I highly recommend that you click that subscribe button here on What Happened When. Boy, we're having a lot of fun, talking about the good old days of Jim Crockett Promotions and now the good old days of WCW. So last week, we saw a little Dusty Tully action. Today, we're going to be seeing a little 1996 action. This is the first pay-per-view since we started the whole NWO invasion. To catch you up, Scott Hall's made his debut, and then Kevin Nash made his debut, and they're both going to appear on this card, but not wrestling, with a little dust up with Mr. Eric Bischoff. And this is the June 1996 pay-per-view. It sets the stage for Bash at the Beach, where we know it all changes with Hulk Hogan. This is going to be a fun show today, Tony.
This is going to be great. This is pre-NWO, and it's it was quite a shocking moment that happened there during the show. And Sting and the Giant in the main event. Plus, as we click play today, you're going to hear from Bobby the Brain Heenan. So you can't beat that, right?
It's going to be phenomenal. I can't wait. Without further ado, pull up Great American Bash 1996. That's what you want to look for. Great American Bash 1996. As it says on Peacock, Season 8, Episode 1. That's Season 8, Episode 1. The Great American Bash 1996. And Tony, I think it's time for, I think you teased last week. Do we have it? A new countdown?
We have a new countdown, and we have been using the countdown by Steph Chesney for a variety of reasons. Number one is that it's so good that we thought it would be our basic countdown. And number two, because none of our low-key big hogs would send us in a countdown because most of them are, are lazy slapdicks.
Got it.
But Devin Dowling has sent in one. And Devin, we appreciate you sending it in. And without further ado, here he comes.
Hey, it is me. It's Devin D19. Devin Dowling, member of the What Happened When Slapdick Nation, ad-free show Slapnut, and also part of the Kickout Crew podcast. Please join Mr. Schiavone and Conrad right now for a fantastic watch-along that they have planned for us, starting in 3, 2, 1, play.
My team's ready. Flair and Anderson, the coach is ready. I hope those two pigskin buffoons are ready. And Savage, you think you're going to get your hands on me? You're badly mistaken. You're not going to tear me apart. I'm not worried. I'm not scared. I'm not worried. Macho, Coach Macho Man is here. Oh, we got strength. Horsemen, watch out for these guys. It's a Great American Bash, baby! And we're taking no prisoners! Woo!
Giant, you've chokeslammed me through tables, you've chokeslammed me in the ring, but you know what? I'm still standing up because I'm the total package. You're going to find out why. I've already got 2 titles, and I'm coming after yours.
Don't bother looking at the definition of the Giant in the dictionary, because you're going to feel it firsthand with the chokeslam.
So listen, that was a little cheesy, but
yeah,
we're a company in transition here.
Right. It was cheesy. And, and I was thinking about this, it really made when the NWO struck, it made them ultra cool because this was cheesy.
That was the difference. Here we are, Baltimore, Maryland. Golly, what a great WCW and NWA town over the years Baltimore was.
Yeah. Wonderful venue.
You think that's top 5 market for y'all?
Yeah, that is.
So Chicago,
Greensboro.
Atlanta, Chicago, Greensboro.
Sergeant Craig Pittman.
We should think about that. Sort of round that out. Like, what were the big WCW towns?
Well, I remember back in the day when, and I'm talking about probably pre-Eric Bischoff, back in the Jim Herd era.
All right.
When towns weren't doing very well.
Yeah.
It seemed like always Norfolk and Jacksonville, Florida always drew well. So I don't know. I don't know if you consider them our top 5 towns, but I remember we would look at advances and we would look at, gates afterwards, and we all go, wow. Oh, we're playing the national anthem here?
Yeah.
Don't sing with your mouth.
That's a way to start Great American Bash,
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
I see it. I'm for it.
Back during
the big pyro.
Sergeant Craig Pittman with a presentation of the colors. And hello, everyone. Along with the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. This is Tony Schiavone. Welcome to our summertime spectacular, the Great American Bash. As you saw at the top, unprecedented tonight, Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, the coach, Bobby the Brain Heenan, against Kevin Greene of the Carolina Panthers, former All-Pro of the Chicago Bears, one of our broadcasters, Steve Mongo McMichael, and the Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Well, I tell you what, they are brewing for a big fight right here at the Great American Bash. They got to come out. I'm talking about the Macho Man like a bunch of crazed dogs, brother.
Also, the biggest man in our sport. We often say that.
What do you think of Dusty's shirt jacket combination here?
Well, he loved that jacket, and I think he wore that jacket most every pay-per-view we did.
Yeah, I know it was a staple, but what's interesting to me is he's wearing a blue t-shirt underneath.
Yeah.
With a neck on it that's about 3 times too big.
Well, that's how he wore his t-shirts. So that was all Dusty right there. I mean, it didn't look that good, but it was Dusty Rhodes, right?
It is Dusty Rhodes. And that jacket, man, we got to find out who can make us those jackets. I think some of our listeners would rock a jacket like that.
I love my haircut. I'm trying to grow it out like that again.
Why do you like the curtain in the back?
I don't know.
That curtain in the back is your deal, though, isn't it?
Well, you know what? There's a woman that I live with that says your hair needs to be longer in the back. She says that all the time. So she said, you got a scar in the back too. You have that surgery, you got a scar in your back. You need to cover that scar up. I said, well, that's behind me, right?
Well, why? No, you don't have to cover that scar up.
She says it all the time.
Who's looking that closely at your neck anyway?
I have no idea. I guess maybe she is. I don't know.
It's weird. When I met you, you bathed once a week, and now she's concerned with your hair routine.
I don't bathe once a week.
No, I know you're off that now. Now it's a lot more, but you told us in very early episodes of What Happened When you bathed once a week, whether you needed it or not. Here's Fire and Ice coming to the ring here. Ice Train and Flash Norton. Scott Norton is that's a guy you probably just don't want to mess with.
Yeah, he's a man's man. And that facial expression you see from Scott Norton,
yeah,
is the facial expression that he had all the time. Thought it was very interesting. They walk to the ring and Ice Train is running his mouth, and Norton is like, "Yeah, I'm all business. I'm just going to the ring here."
I mean, he took his time too, boy.
Yeah,
he took his time.
Wow. How about this, man? Just 2 little video screens.
I like it.
Yeah, it's simple but good.
Yeah, with the really tall curtain behind it and some smoke, and here come the Steiner brothers. And I know a lot of people would say, they were due for a makeover here by 96. I disagree. Like, Steiners could have wore this shit the whole time. Might have been.
Oh, yeah. Whoever said they were due for a makeover, like, what the is that Pondwater Dave saying something like that?
He'd probably say something dumb. No, he's a retro guy. He wishes wrestling still looked like 1983.
Okay. All right. Well, we do have a lot of dumbasses who listen to us.
Oh yeah,
in our group, and so maybe this should be good. This should be good to see Rick Steiner and Scott Norton
Come on, man. I mean,
show
the
each
Steiner
other
brothers and Scott Norton is guaranteed to be fun.
Yeah.
And then, well, Ice Train, just hang on, say some prayers. Awesome prayers.
There's a lot about Ice Train that is almost like he's a little bit bigger in the waistline, but there's a lot of Ice Train that kind of looks today like Powerhouse Hobbs. You know, his shape.
Oh yeah, he's a thick daddy. You mean?
Yeah, thick daddy, big strong guy. Scott's saying, "Okay." This is pretty funny because I think Ice Train is trying to be like entertaining,
and Scott ain't really having that.
Scott ain't really having it. All right, there you go. Good reversal.
Wow, he got over for him though.
Yeah, he sure did.
And you know, with Scotty, it's kind of up to him.
Yeah, he'll if he's doing something like that, it's only because he's letting you do something like that.
Oh, that looks like a real headlock right there, didn't it?
Here we go again. No, you know, Scotty's a pro. He really was. He really was.
I do think it's fun that, you know, that's the difference in a Steiner Brothers match to me. Usually by this point, you and I would be knee deep in nonsense bullshit talk, but because we got two big dudes challenging the Steiners, we're like, well, let's just see if somebody wants to get cute here. We're watching very intently, just trying to see, okay, what's real and what's Memorex here. What do you think of that little move there where Rick would dive underneath his brother's legs like that and do his little barking routine?
Loved it because the fans did. The fans always pop for it.
Yep.
Yeah. Vintage Steiners, man.
Yep.
Now Scott's got a little bit of a, I don't know, lighthearted look on his face than he did. Now here comes.
Oh, here's the tag. So it's Rick Steiner and Scott Norton now. This should be fun. Let's track it just a minute here.
What if Lex Luger wrecks the...
Oh, wow. Dusty's trying to sell. Meanwhile, I bet everybody, if they got this on a monitor in the back, everybody's watching. Even if they like each other, just, you know, if there's one miscommunication, something's a little snugger than somebody wanted, you got to wonder with guys like these, what's that going to look like? Wow, he sent Rick Steiner flying there. What do you think of the headgear?
Well, that was his trademark, wasn't it?
It's amazing to me that all these years later, I think only one other guy's rocking it. Josh Alexander, the Impact World Champion. Like, think about that. Isn't that crazy? Like,
yeah. You would think more. I love that. I loved how he would how Rick Steiner would meet you at the clothesline, but he would leap in the air as well.
Yep.
That would put a little bit more extra. Here we go.
Big suplex. This is fun. This is a fun match, man.
Oh, of course it is. Anytime the Steiners are doing something, it's fun.
When I was a kid, they were my absolute favorites, dude.
Well, I can understand that.
Them and on this show it was the Steiner Brothers. On the other show, I love Demolition.
Oh, really?
I like the Rockers, Hart Foundation. But
so you've always kind of been you've always kind of been a tag team guy, right?
Oh, I loved it as a kid.
Yeah.
Because as a little boy growing up, you know, if you've got wrestling friends, right, then you want to recreate the matches, and people are jumping off couches and falling on the couch pillows and, you know, all that nonsense. That's what little kids do. And it was always fun to have tag matches because, you know, if you had a bunch of friends, there you go.
Right. And it makes me wonder why Vince, as they would always say, I didn't know this to be a fact in the year I worked there, but why Vince McMahon did not like tag team wrestling. Have you heard that line before?
I have. And the reason is money.
Okay.
You got to pay twice as many people.
Oh, okay. But to me, I mean, tag teams, the excitement of tag teams, the hot tag, right? The sell job and reaching out and being cut off every time and finally making the tag just added to the excitement of wrestling. So
didn't you say Arn Anderson called it the most exciting 2 minutes in wrestling or whatever?
Yeah.
Seriously, the hot tag.
Yeah, the hot tag. Yeah, sure.
I know when you're thinking of most exciting 2 minutes, you're usually thinking about something involving your Peter meat.
That would be 30 seconds.
Okay.
But that was years ago. I'm a wise old man now.
What does that mean?
That means that
Wise old man.
I'm a wise old man. I just leave that alone. Wow, look at that. He muscled him over on that one.
Oh, dude, he didn't have a choice right there.
Yeah, I know. He was going over.
Do you think he whispers, hang on?
He may.
Hold still.
Oh, man. Ice Train hit that left side rope came off real slow.
Yeah.
Because he knew what was coming. He didn't want to give it any extra oomph. Poor Ice Train, man.
Tag me the fuck out of here.
Oh,
my
Lord.
God.
Oh, he threw him on his shoulder that time.
Got dropped on his shoulder, and now Scott Norton got dropped on his shoulder. And once again, now take a whole look at this picture. Now what Scotty is doing, which Norton didn't do, is try to go out and get him, but the referee down just intervene, step in. All right,
Intervene.
I how do you not love Dusty?
I don't know the words he comes up with. Right. Wow, that was that would have been one that we would have replayed on AEW. Let's take a look once again at him landing on his shoulder. Oh man, that was a little awkward, but that's pretty cool.
Well, because Steiner's probably 280, jumping off the top rope, and unbelievably, Norton just catches him. But of course, if you're going to catch him without coming off the top, there's going to be some momentum. You're going to like stutter step it or stammer a little bit, and
right.
Holy cow, dude! This is unbelievable.
This is a hell of a way to open up a pay-per-view event.
I mean, I know it's not, Scott Norton and Ice Train are not exactly known to be world beater contenders here, but damn nation, we're glued to it.
What happened to Ice Train? Do you know off the top of your head? You got to look it up. I mean, obviously we know Scott Norton wrestled many, many years, and we know what the Steiners did, but it seemed like Ice Train around this time, and then that was it. You never saw him again.
Oh yeah, you mean as far as like when he left WCW?
Yeah, and where he went after that, I don't know.
Well, I think he was out relatively early. No, right. There you go. He's there. He retired from wrestling soon after the merger, so he retired just after WWE bought it out.
Okay, so that was it. Didn't come back.
Well, we say that was it, but he did come back for a match against Dave Taylor in 2019.
Really?
But think about that. Ain't that crazy? His last match was WCW Nitro against he was MI Smooth. Canyon beat him on March 19th, 2001. And then he came back in 2019 around Christmas time to work a match in Hanover versus Dave Taylor. How cool is that?
That was right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And that was right after I had returned and AEW had started. So that's recent. Huh. That's interesting. It's Dave Taylor. So is that like independent show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, look at this.
Crashing him right down. Tag's been made. Where?
Tag has been made. Roll with that one. Waistlock. Train. We've got bodies everywhere.
Oh shit.
In a situation there where
that was good. That was good.
I imagine right now Rick Steiner's a little annoyed with Ice Train.
Well, no, here's what happened. I was too, but I think Rick is the one that did the U-turn on that because there were bodies. He wanted to shoot him off the left side ropes, but there were bodies laying there. So they did a U-turn and shot him off the far side ropes, I think. I think that was a little teamwork that time. Rick said, here we go. And Ice Train says, there are people there. But you could be right.
The big splash. One.
And a save.
Scott makes the save from the outside. And that saved the Steiners right.
I mean, again, I'm not going to say that these guys are my favorites, but Lord, this is fun to watch.
Yeah, it's a great opening match, man.
Look at this.
Be a big victory right here for
Jackknife. He tripped him up. He tripped him up. A good shot.
It looked like they were about to use Steiner's finisher.
Mm-hmm. All right.
That was fun, man.
You know, it's like a lot of times we make fun. Scott's, that was the wrong corner, wasn't it? It was the wrong corner.
I want to mention this show got 97.9% thumbs up. Dave Meltzer would say it's one of the best WCW pay-per-views of all time.
Whoa.
There were 238 thumbs up votes, 4 thumb down, and 1 thumb in the middle. 4 thumbs in the middle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. The 4 that did the thumbs. Oh, shit. Shitty Frankensteiners. Scott didn't go over.
Yes. Hard hitting. I mean, both teams all 4 men.
Really a fun match. I recommend you go check it out. When it came time for Meltzer to throw a star rating on it, he gave it 3 stars. He says the crowd, which was dead during the pre-show, really got into the Steiners. The fans booed Fire and Ice, although they didn't play heel at all. Scott and Norton traded dropping each other on their shoulders at bad angles. Very good Japanese style match until the finishing move itself wasn't taken right. I can't believe they'd ever even think of having a guy the size of Norton try to take the Frankensteiner. Listen to this, though.
I'm going to talk to you on that subject in a moment, but did you see young Benoit? He's very, very, I would say, angry.
You know, Taskmaster, tonight's tonight. We have the WCW heavyweight champion of the world in the Dungeon of Doom. You're taking on Chris Benoit. We don't need the 4 horsemen. We don't need anything or anybody.
Oh, wait a minute now. Falls are going to count anywhere, as I understand it. Is that correct, Sullivan?
Falls count anywhere in the building, but this isn't it.
Anywhere.
Jimmy, this is not between the Dungeon and the Horsemen. This is between myself, Ric Flair, and Arn Anderson. You see, I got rid of the last horseman and showed him that Pillman was a quitter. Benoit's no quitter, but he's no horseman. I know what makes a horseman tick. Arn Anderson stuck out his hand. He made a deal. And Arn, this one is for you. When I drag Benoit through this building and I make him suffer, I'm going to lean over and I'm going to lay something on you, Benoit. The same thing I laid on Pillman was a left. And I'm going to show the horsemen, especially Arn and Rick, that they can count on the Dungeon of Doom.
Thank you. Very succinct, Taskmaster Kevin Sullivan. Right now, let's get you back up to the ring. And David Pinzer.
So I'm at 1934. Let's press pause right now, Tony, at 1934, because I know that you've been doing a little bit of research and learning a little bit more about NAD Plus and how and why NAD Plus supplementation is an important part of our routine, an important part of our lives as we age. Tell us about it, Tony.
Well, NAD Plus is found in every single cell of your body. It's responsible for creating energy and regulating hundreds of cell functions. So for a person of my age, that is very, very important. NAD Plus levels decline as you age. Lack of sleep, intense exercise, unbalanced diet, and sun overexposure also deplete NAD Plus levels. So you can see how they get depleted as long as your life goes on. So that's why I've been really, really about that over the, well, gee whiz, the last 4 years, but especially now.
Well, that's great, Tony. Elysium products target aging at its source. They're unlike any other health company I've seen. They're at the forefront of NAD Plus supplementation. They have dozens of the world's best scientists. 8 of them, in fact, are Nobel Prize winners. It was founded by renowned Dr. Leonard Garanti, who has studied the science of aging for more than 30 years. So we know we can trust them. And I got to tell you, man, this is something that you and I have both started to learn a little bit about. And now we both believe that Basis is going to replenish those youthful levels of NAD Plus to promote healthy aging, support cellular energy and metabolism, and reduce general tiredness to help you stay feeling good for longer. And many Basis customers also report higher energy, less fatigue, and more satisfying workouts. So right now we want you to check it out, Tony. We've got a special offer too, right?
Go to trybasis.com/WHW, enter code WHW at checkout to save 10% off Basis prepaid plans, as well as other Elysium Health supplements. That's trybasis, trybasis.com/WHW, and use code WHW at checkout to save 10%. We'd like to thank Elysium Health for sponsoring this episode of What Happened When.
And Tony, back along on the watch along, I'm at 1934. So when you get to 1934, do a little countdown and we'll get going, because I think we've got Conan and El Gato coming up next.
And let's go there from 1934 at 3, 2, 1, play.
Back up to the ring, and David Penzer.
The next match of the bash is set for one fall for the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship. Introducing first the challenger from Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, El Gato. El Gato making his debut on the WCW pay-per-view spectacular. Of course, we saw him on the main event. You and Lee Marshall just a week ago saw this El Gato, and he has a lot of quickness, but he's got to go up against a man who's red hot right now. You have Cat Conan.
Yeah, and El Gato's reputation has preceded him. And as you said, we took a look at it, but one of the great athletes in this whole country and this whole universe, if you will, all over the world, is Conan. And I guarantee you, this matchup for the United States with that.
I love Dusty. I can just listen to Dusty's commentary all day. I don't know why it's entertaining. I just know it is.
Did El Gato steal a mask from Tiger Mask?
Looks a lot like a little stolen Tiger Mask.
Yeah, man.
So this is actually Patrick Tanaka. We all know Patrick. They're only going to go 6 minutes and 3 seconds here. Meltzer would say, Gato was billed from Cabo San Lucas in Mexico this week after an angle last week that he was from South America. I guess once we cross the border, they're all foreigners and it doesn't really matter.
You know, Tony, he's surprised a lot of people by holding on to it as long as he has, and he's taking on all comers. He's facing a man right here that I'm sure he's seen tapes on. Very quick, very fast.
Read that from Dave Meltzer once again.
But Conan, like you said,
I guess once we cross the border and they're all foreigners, it doesn't really matter.
I guarantee you, I like this athlete, Conan. He's a good one.
He is a great one.
Oh, my
Conan
God.
and El Gato
1996.
in this title matchup
Yeah,
for the
an
United
interesting
States
time.
Heavyweight Championship. It would
A
be
moment in time, if you
quite a
will.
feather in the cap of
What's
El
that referee's
Gato.
name? I always forget his
I
name.
know it-
I have
I
no
know a
idea who it
cat
is.
doesn't have feathers, but
Thanks for that
nevertheless,
info. Look at that haircut. You think he lost a bet?
The U.S. Heavyweight title belt.
Yeah,
quite a feather for him to win that U.S.
Spit it
Heavyweight
out.
title.
It is quite the mullet.
Spit it out. Feather in the hat
With
if he wins
bangs.
the title. That's all you had to say. A feather in the hat if you win the title. That's all.
It's
That's
a terrible
all. Not to
haircut.
filibuster.
My God.
Full arm drag and twist and a good reversal.
Not only is it a terrible haircut, he has no idea what he's
Ground
doing.
attack by Conan and aerial assault by El Gato. And El Gato up in the fighting position already.
Yeah, it was a quick arm drag, got him over, got up in the fighting position, had a good
I mean,
base,
it is like
good
the worst
stance,
haircut ever.
kicked him in the back.
Like, I think we all know Mickey J. We all know Randy Anderson.
man.
We all know Mark Curtis. We all know Charles Robinson. We all know Tommy Young. So many classic WCW referees. And now I'm like,
But I was astonished that you knew what kind of
No, I don't.
Yeah, okay.
I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious when you drag the
It's
leg.
like he's the.
Never mind.
Whoa.
El Gato. Repeated
You know,
kick to the
it's
midsection.
like,
Arm
I
drag
don't know.
takedown that time. And El Gato content
There's
with
always
keeping
seemed to be a
Conan
referee
now
like
off
that.
the mat.
El Gato's in spurts. You
In
see
every
that?
promotion.
I mean, what I mean by spurts
Pardon
is
me.
if you're at
I
home
love-
and you're watching on
I
your
love
on the
to.
radio.
I love
he's
that
real
new text
quick.
notification
You know
you're
what I mean?
rocking.
And then
Yes,
he'll
that's,
back off, get his good base, get a
that's
good
the
balance.
Mario coin.
Because Conan outweighs him. You can see that as a bigger man than he is. So he's got to use his power and his speed and try to chop him right there.
Into the midsection, Conan
Is,
up on middle turnbuckles.
That's not Billy
Nicely
Silverman.
done.
That's not
And
Scott
talking to the wrestlers
Dickinson.
in World Championship
That's
Wrestling
not Jimmy
about
Jett.
what you do against this U.S. Heavyweight
Not
champion.
Mickey J.
They say he has tremendous endurance for
It's
a
not
big
Nick
man.
Patrick.
So it's really hard to wear him down because he can take a lot of punishment. How about that? Grabs him by the hair, tumbles
I don't
out of the
think
way.
it's Rhubarb Jones.
Clothesline.
Well,
It might be a kid from Baltimore.
And as you said,
You know,
he
that
grabbed
they-
No, we saw him on a lot of other stuff. I did not know this guy's name.
I
Too
don't.
late.
1, 2, you're right, Dream. A little bit too late that time.
Let's call him Fred
He took too
Akins.
much time from the time he
Oh, is this Randy Eller?
There you go. Randy Eller.
The greatest athletes in our sport, been the U.S.
It's got to be
heavyweight
Randy
champion.
Eller.
Lex
It's
Luger, a
Randy
man who will
fucking
go
Eller.
after the world heavyweight title a
My
little
God,
bit later
the
on
haircut.
tonight. U.S. heavyweight champion, Nature Boy Ric
It's
Flair.
the best.
The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, all U.S. heavyweight
I
champions.
mean-
and right now it's Conan, the first man from Mexico.
I'll tell you.
to hold that U.S.
I
heavyweight
can't keep my eyes off his hair.
Conan.
The idea that he's got the curtain in the back and he's got the
That
mustache.
was on target. He tried
Don't
to
even
block
act
it,
like
but
he's
it put
not
him on
got a
the
little
mat.
bit of Tony
Cover
Schiavone
again, did not
influence.
hook him
Wait a
with
second.
it.
Like he's
Gets the right shoulder
that's
up.
cousin
Well,
Schiavone
got
right
the
No,
there.
hang on a second.
And that was
I would
quick
never
again.
have bangs
And
like
he
that.
got in a
Okay.
situation
That
there
bowl
where he
cut
really
shit.
got that
Woo,
leg sweep
woo.
and busted his noggin back.
And he's
in
got
there.
perfect shape
And
from
now,
bangs
knowing when to put
down
him
to the
away. We talk
sideburns.
about that so much. To be a champion,
This
you got to know
wouldn't
when
have
to
took me
put him
this
away.
long to
Try to get
remember
him over
Randy
right
Eller's
here
name.
in some type
Because
of
as soon
call.
as I read it, I was like,
Some type
duh.
of call that one?
No, I wanted you to call
Damn
that
it.
one.
Well, you're doing just fine.
Should have known this.
Well, it's a he's got him hurting there.
So Conan and El Gato, Pat Tanaka. As fun as that first match was, this one just feels like it's kind of just sort
That's
of.
leverage.
He's got
Well,
the ropes
how do
for
you
leverage.
follow
You
that,
may be
really?
wondering
Yeah.
where Bobby the Brain Heenan is in our
Sometimes
broadcast.
guys
He is
can have a
devoting all his
very,
time
very
in the locker
solid
room area
fundamental
to his
match,
team tonight. Ric
and
Flair,
they
Arn
followed
Anderson
something
for
like
that
that.
matchup coming up
And
later on against Kevin Greene
they're
of the
not doing it. I
Panthers.
wonder how much
Steve Mongo,
comparatively
McMichael. Ooh.
a ringside
Instead of
ticket
Dusty
cost
Brow
back
beating the
then
brain,
compared
he's
to what
turning
they
on
cost
me
now.
here.
I'm not
Into
here.
the ropes, up on
Today they're pretty
into
stout.
a power bomb.
Oh,
into
big
a
time.
1, 2, we do not.
But you
have
know,
a
I mean, that's the
US
thing, that they've got a
Well, that was
passionate fan
awful
base.
close right there. Staying on top
They'll
of
pay
him,
it.
though.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
No, I
Gato
mean,
really showing us
that's
something
been
here.
proven that
You let's be- look at
when
his
the
knowledge of
WWE
holds there
years
where
ago
he takes
started
the
doing
situation
$1,000
where he
ringside
works both them
seats.
arms there
I don't know.
And now putting a lot of pressure. They got his
And I
head
mean,
in
like,
there,
for
got
just
his
like a
arm bent
random
back. This could uncle you.
kind of throwaway
Later
pay-per-view.
on, also, we are seeing El
There it
Gato
was.
from Mexico.
Yeah.
Ray
It worked.
Mysterio Jr. will be with us. And
And
I
it's
do
still
understand that we are going to
Yeah.
be joined
I mean, I
by
saw
Mike Tenay.
a few years ago
Wrestling Insider.
when they first started promoting
And he'll be talking about
WrestleMania
Rey
tickets
Mysterio.
that
He'll
way.
be telling us some of the
I mean, it was
history of
like
this great masked man.
thousands
There's
and
a lot of
thousands of
history there.
dollars for
And you
good
can
ringside
call it
seats. And
an
it was like,
international
man,
night right here at the Great American Bash.
pay scale
Look at this
here.
thing. Got him tied up here
the
like
guys has gone
I
up,
mean, like-
so has
it's
the
like a
pricing
spider
for
web there,
the
arms
super
hanging out
tickets.
everywhere. Which
Like they do
leg is
those
this? Is this El Gato's leg up here on
platinum
top?
whatever
That's
they do on
Elgato's leg up
Ticketmaster.
here
So
on
now it's not even
Conan, not only a
resellers.
tremendous
It's,
wrestler
that's
and the
actually what it
U.S.
is.
champ and the Mexican champ, but he's a major star in wrestling in
Conan could do
Mexico
some
and has his
tremendous
own television
things.
series.
And he
in
looked
Mexico
like a
as
star.
well.
Yeah, he did.
So he is just a
That's the
television
thing.
star, a major television
You want to do
star.
that roll-up
I got
cutter
my own
and,
series too.
El
You sure
Gato
do. Each and every
WCW Saturday night. The
set
mothership.
in the
That's right.
corner.
I got co-stars on it. Yourself,
That's
Silver
what
Tongue,
he
Tony Schiavone.
Like,
Look at him tumbling through.
The poster for this show is something I've been chasing forever. So if you're listening to this
wow.
and
Only that time,
you've
and El
got
Gato
it,
got out
boy,
of
I'd love
This
to.
matchup
If
right
you
here,
got
I
it
mean, they
in mint condition,
fought back and
I'm your
forth. They used
Huckleberry.
some different
Just so you
maneuvers
remember,
to try to put
Tony,
the other
this
guy
is the
away,
one
but
where they've got
either one of them yet has
Mean
got in a
Gene in
position
like
where
a,
he's
an
really hurt
apron
the other
and a
guy
chef's
and got
hat,
him
and he's got
where this
hamburger
might be
meat
it, right?
shaped
But he
like
landed on his feet.
WCW.
How about it?
Right,
First time on the
right,
And you got this
outside,
grill
Conan
on
lands on his
fire
feet. You can
with
see Conan
Bobby
waiting
the
on
Brain
that one.
Heenan
El Gato
supposedly
hit
working the
hard,
grill, but
and
he's wearing like a
he
coal
takes
miner's
tumble on the
glove.
outside. Conan, boy, he is one step ahead here. Showing
I think
his
that would be
quickness, his
hilarious to
reserve.
hang in our little
El
studio at the
Gato
office.
trying to shoulder block.
That'd be great.
What are we going to do here?
So it's out
On the
there, right?
outside,
Somewhere.
Oh, man.
On the outside.
Powerbomb on the
Never seen
floor.
nothing like that.
I've never seen it either.
That's years before everybody was powerbombing on the
And it
edge of the
happened
apron.
on the outside.
And
If he'd have
crowds
turned around
popping
and got him
for
in a
it, too. At
situation
least they
like that
did.
where he went over in the ring, he would have got him. Would have got the 1, 2, 3. But can
Look at them
Gato
little
get
guys
up
down
from
there.
here?
Look, we're on
Referee's
camera.
starting to count.
There's my buddy.
Get a
Of
count
course.
out. He took a lot of punishment
stars,
with that
two?
one
Yeah.
particular maneuver.
Conan
He's
used a
back
lot of
in, is
submission
El Gato,
moves that the
and
American
Conan's
crowd
back
still
with him.
doesn't understand,
Fans
since nobody has
appreciating
ever
the
put them
heavyweight
over,
champion
and the
El Gato
announcers
trying to
never got them
lay
over,
scissors
especially
here.
that nothing happening Tony Schiavone.
Powerbomb him down, bridged over
Highlight
line.
it was him using a sunset flip over the top rope to the floor, turning it into a powerbomb on the floor, which looked dangerous. And that's it. Conan picks up the win, 2 stars here. That was a fun little segment, though.
Yeah, it was okay for what it was. It was short enough. Good, right?
Meltzer says in this Sting interview that we're about to listen to. That should be a fun match, by the way. It's going to be Sting versus Regal on a pay-per-view. Sign me up for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Meltzer says the only reason it was noteworthy is because he was doing a really decent interview until he lost his train of thought. This is one of my favorite segments to watch because you can tell he's got it, and then all of a sudden it's like, shit, what was I talking about?
Coming up, we know the background between you and Lord Steven Regal. This guy, to me, kind of comes off as somewhat of a sissy or a prissy, but we know better than that. Looks are deceiving, and his actions are a little deceiving. This man could be one mean son of a gun, as they say.
You're trying to stir it up a little bit, aren't you, Mean Gene? You don't have to stir the stinger up when you say he's a little prissy. To be honest with you, I got to wonder myself because he's talking about the stinger painting up nice and pretty. Well, your lordship, you also drink tea like this, don't you? That little pinky out like that. I gotta wonder about you myself. Is that the way they breed the boys over there in England? Let me just square something up with you right now. That ain't the way we breed American men here in the United States, and that's exactly where you are on U.S. turf, U.S. soil. You can take. God, I can't say that. I just can't say that. Mean Gene, we're on TV. You take it for 1 second.
Well, I'd just like to point out one thing. This man has wrestled actually as a youngster in the sand pits of India. We know what he's done here at World Championship Wrestling. I think you've got your work cut out for you, quite honestly.
I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm not saying he's not a fantastic wrestler. I'm just saying he's a little iffy. I'm not too sure about him. And if there's anybody that can straighten you out in the course of 10, 20, maybe 30 minutes, it's the Stinger. I guarantee you.
Maybe I was a little too strong when I said he's kind of a prissy. Well, whatever.
So, yeah, with that in mind, let's press pause here for the Lord of the Ring graphic. We're at 30 minutes and 20 seconds. And Tony, right now, I think we should take a minute and tell everybody about Z-Biotics. You know, they're the maker of the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. Your first drink of the night for a better tomorrow. That's what we're talking about. The Z-Biotics pre-alcohol probiotic. This is something Megan and I tried out last week. It really works. Let me explain. Yeah. Okay. It's engineered by a team of PhD microbiologists. The Z-Biotics probiotic drink is going to break down the byproduct of alcohol, which is called something that, guys, I can't even pronounce. But I'll tell you this, it's responsible for rough mornings after drinking. You know what we're talking about. You get that Barry Windham, Tony Schiavone, jalapeno in the hair hangover. Well, we can eliminate that with this. This is like a magic bullet, if you will. Step one, have a Z-Biotics. And for best results, make Z-Biotics your first drink of the night. Step two, drink responsibly. You want to pace yourself. You want to hydrate. You want to get a good night's sleep. And then step three, enjoy tomorrow. Wake up feeling refreshed and ready to take on the day. And Tony, that's something that I have at times in my life struggled with. You know, you go out, you have a good time, but the next day, as we like to say, you pay the piper. Not anymore, man. Not with this.
I remember many times being at the Conradison the next morning and you paying the piper.
Yeah. So why not check this out? Well, I want to make sure everybody's got this. Z-Biotics pre-alcohol probiotic is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle those rough mornings after drinking. And here's how it works again. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough day the next day. Z-Biotics produces an enzyme to help break this byproduct down. It's designed to work like your liver, but in your gut where you need it the most. So just remember to drink Z-Biotics before drinking alcohol. Drink responsibly and get a good night's sleep to be your best tomorrow. And Tony, I think right now we've got a special offer.
Give Z-Biotics a try for yourself. Go to zbiotics.com/WHW and you'll get 15% off your first order when you use WHW at checkout. Z-Biotics is backed with 100% money back guarantees. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/WHW and use the code WHW at checkout for 15% off. Thank you, Z-Biotics, for sponsoring this episode of What Happened When.
All right, so Tony, we've got it stopped down here, at least on my side. I'm at 30-20. So hopefully you're paused at 30-20 when it says Lord of the Ring. And I want to go ahead and introduce a little life hack for you guys. Well, we're here at the family. We've got more than a few weddings and graduations coming up. And despite all the champagne we'll be drinking, we're actually looking forward to brunch the next day because we're going to have Z-Biotics with us. This is something that Megan and I tried firsthand a couple of weeks ago. And I got to admit, the first time I tried Z-Biotics, I was at my favorite spot, the Boot. And as instructed, I drank a bottle of Z-Biotics before any alcohol. And guys, I was amazed at how good I felt the next day. Every time I have a Z-Biotics before drinking, it just makes such a difference the next day. Even after drinks the night before, I know I'll be able to wake up early, record with Tony, and still have a productive day. This has been a game changer for me. Can't recommend it for you guys enough. And let me explain. Z-Biotics pre-alcohol probiotic is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. And here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Z-Biotics produce an enzyme to break this byproduct down. And it's designed to work like your liver, but in your gut where you need it most. So just remember to drink Z-Biotics before drinking alcohol. Drink responsibly and get a good night's sleep to feel your best tomorrow. So why not give it a try for yourself? Go to zbiotics.com/WHW to get 15% off your first order when you use WHW at checkout. Z-Biotics is backed with a 100% money back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. And July 4th is right around the corner. So order a pack of Z-Biotics for you and your friends to make sure you get it in time. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/WHW and use code WHW at checkout for 15% off. And we thank you, Z-Biotics, for sponsoring today's episode and my next outing with the boys. So without further ado, let's get back to our show here, Tony. I'm at 30 minutes and 20 seconds. You want to count us in here?
Here we go. Back to the show. You should see Lord of the Rings on, or Lord of the Ring, that is, on your screen. In 3, 2, 1, play.
The last time we were on pay-per-view, we saw this man, Diamond Dallas, win the Lord of the Ring, win the Battle Bowl competition, win the ring. And before we talk about that,
so there you go. We got DDP defending his Lord of the Rings ring.
Wow.
Against Marcus Bagwell. They're going to go 9 minutes and 39 seconds. And he's going to go for a little cheap heat here at the top. And again, we're in Baltimore, so we'll track some of that.
Yeah.
Meltzer would say, because Bagwell has such a lame gimmick, few people are noticing what a great worker he's turning into. Page's matches are all well laid out. The only weakness of this match is that Page in spots tries to sell like Terry Funk. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. And it was the latter towards the finish of this match. But Meltzer would say that the crowd is getting with the finisher here. So let's listen to DDP try to rile it up.
he's got the microphone.
As far as I'm concerned, when you Baltimore bimbos get a load of Diamond Dallas Page, you're going to forget all about that chump, Carl Ripken.
Cal Ripken.
Shut up, you zero.
Oh, he's talking baseball now. He don't know what you're talking about. Bad about Cal. Not in this.
Carl Ripken. I like that.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
Because as we know, he was the Lord of Baltimore.
The Iron Man. Were you a Cal Ripken fan?
Yeah, I knew his dad and his brother very well. His brother was on a baseball team that I did play-by-play for.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I knew Billy. As a matter of fact, Billy sent me a text 3 months ago.
Well, I'll be doing
that. He saw us on TV. Billy was a little bit different than Cal.
How so?
Billy was a wild, crazy partier. And Cal was more of a straight edge type type, no nonsense guy. Billy was just different. And I think Billy is still on MLB Network.
Which one of those would I fit into?
Oh, Billy. No question.
I'm a wild, crazy partier.
Yeah.
Okay.
As we have established many times.
I didn't know that.
Well, there you go. You learn things about yourself on this program. I've learned things about myself on this program too.
Yeah, I think we should remind everybody that a lot of times what we talk about here on this program, we're just busting balls, guys.
Yes, we're not serious. So settle down.
Yeah, sometimes I say something on here on the show. It's just for funning.
Yeah.
Yeah?
People want to take parts of what we say and use it for their own design. I get it. I get where some of you guys are coming from. You just want to cause shit because you can, because you're behind a keyboard and you have no watch out. 2 count. You have no recourse. Nobody will get back at you. You just sink behind your keyboard and the anonymous guy with the stupid handle.
What the stupid handle?
Yeah, pick one.
I don't know why that tickled me, but it did. We got a ton of questions for this episode. Let's jump into.
We did?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Mitchell Barnett says, Tony, what if anything could Major League Baseball do to bring back your fandom and love for it? Also, who's on your personal Mount Rushmore of favorite baseball players of all time?
Wow, my God. Well, I think one thing that baseball could do to bring back my love for it is get rid of the umpire review. God almighty, let's slow down the game even more. Number 2, bring back the World Series at a decent time where the working man can watch it. Number 3, stop letting television run your product. Let's see. Number 4, go fuck yourself.
Okay.
And what's the next question? Oh, Mount
Rushmore.
Favorite baseball players. Reggie Jackson is there. Rick Monday would be there.
I knew those 2. I couldn't answer you on that.
Okay. Wow. Jim Catfish Hunter. And probably for probably Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod. And I say that because, A-Rod was a big wrestling fan. And I got to meet him in Miami one time. And I had one of the great baseball talks I've ever had.
Really?
him. Yeah. We talked about baseball. We talked about wrestling. We talked about the state of the game. I just really respected him. And of course, he was with Jennifer Lopez for a while. And why wouldn't you put anybody on your Mount Rushmore that had hooked up with J-Lo, right?
That's an issue for you?
She's one of the most beautiful women ever in the world. Don't you agree?
Yeah. She's pretty roll tide. I mean,
yeah, she's really rolled. Whatever that term is you're going to use. Oh, got something in.
What do you got?
Paul Bromwell.
Okay.
Hey, Tony, I got a call that I get to work with you tonight for the Zoom for ad-free shows at 8 p.m. We're taping this on Monday the 23rd. Are you still good to go? And here's my text back to Paul Bromwell.
I bet it's hurtful.
Yeah. What do you fucking think?
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, it's tough to be your friend sometimes.
Well, I don't want to beat around the bush here,
Well, we're talking over a pretty decent match here.
There you go.
2.5 stars. I never saw that before. Like a gut wrench backbreaker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen it before, but I don't think I've seen DDP do it before.
Well, one thing that was cool about DDP, obviously he worked harder than anybody else, tried to reinvent him. Look at this. Try to reinvent himself. And he tried things. He really did. Oh, I can do that. He'd watch a match. Let me try it. So there you go. How's Snake Pit doing?
Good, man. I think I think Jake, the DDP, and John Alba are recording right now as you and I are.
Very cool. Matter of fact, I know they are because I've been in touch with Comeback Studios today. Look at this. There's
It's old school, but you know what? Once upon a time, that shit was classic, and he got caught. Darn it!
Mm-hmm. Look at those fans in the front row are some bizarro fans, buddy. See that guy waving to us right now? There's a guy with a Dallas Cowboy. You can't see him. There's a guy he's right in the front there. This old guy, see him standing up right here now with a hat on?
Yeah.
Okay. He's not one of those front row guys that want to be seen. He just wants to give wrestlers shit.
Right.
There's a lot of front row guys, especially in today's wrestling, that want to be seen that are just obnoxious. But he's standing up because he wants to let DDP know some shit, buddy. He's got a serious look on his face, and he's watching the matches intently. And, of course, guy like him could afford ringside tickets because they weren't $1,000, $2,000 a shot back then.
Right.
This is one of those shows where we probably would end up at Sabatino's afterwards in Baltimore. But now we all just go to Jimmy's Famous Seafood. Shout out to John. And Conrad talks in 3, 2, 1, go.
Ravens, you know about them, don't you? They play the Cowboys. That's all I need to know. Whoa!
I find myself watching matches in this era just waiting for the Diamond Cutter.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's got, at this point, he's starting to get the move over in a big way. But through 96 and 97, it was almost a practice in how's he going to get it on today? Not is he going to hit a Diamond Cutter, but how will he get it on?
Right.
And even now, going back and watching, if I don't remember how he set it up, I'm like, all right, what's this time going to be? Because, and I kind of like that. What do you think? Is it better to have a signature move that's set up by another move? Like, meaning DDP, or not DDP, Jake the Snake Roberts used to do like that little, here we go sign. And then usually like a short arm clothesline or vice versa to set up the DDT. So you knew, hey, this is what he does. Shawn Michaels would stand in the corner and quote, tune up the band. So he'd start, stomping his foot in the corner to set it up.
Right.
The Diamond Cutter is really one of the first moves that could come from any direction. And then of course, a generation later, people started talking about Randy Orton and the RKO out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a preference? Like, should we clue the fans in and set it up, or is it better for it to be the element of surprise? I ask because I know once upon a time you were critical of war games and I couldn't believe it, but you made a really valid point that, hey, there's more anticipation and more excitement and more edge of your seat, whatever, with a pinfall as opposed to a submission, because the fans are conditioned. 1, 2, is he going to get it? Here we go. It's built-in drama on a 3 count. That's just not there.
Yeah.
On a submission. And I never really considered that. So now I'm curious, what's your thinking on finishes? You like the big build in the tees or out of nowhere?
Well, I think it depends on who's wrestling for one thing, but I always like the out of nowhere. I think that's one of the things that made the Diamond Cutter what it was, because he could execute it so well and the match is going on, boom, boom, boom. And all of a sudden he hits it out of nowhere, like right here, and the match is over. And that's, the fans pop for that. One, two, three. Oh, look at Bagwell.
He blocked that bridge suplex because potentially that could have been the match. And then Diamond Dallas.
What do you think of the ring gimmick? I know that's a Dusty thing.
The what gimmick?
The ring, not a belt, but a ring. I mean, it is very traditional sports, but what do you think?
Forerunner of the Dynamite Diamond Ring, I guess, in many ways. Yeah, that was Dusty's things. He always said, the pro athletes say, money's one thing, but that ring is forever. I guess that's why. There you go. There's your diamond cutter.
Buff did a great job with it too.
Yeah, he did.
Isn't it funny all these years later that those guys are still attached to the hip?
Mm. Hey, another thing, DDP was very good at knowing where the camera was. There are a couple of times during those matches that you could see him look and make sure the camera was up. Well, here we go. Stud time.
Heavyweight title later tonight against Lex Luger, the Giant, also joining us. But I think the $64,000 or $1 million question in 1996, Jimmy Hart, where do your affections lie? You're kind of the man in the middle. We know about your association with the Giant, but what about Lex Luger?
Well, you know me, Gene. Everybody wants to know, what's up between Jimmy Hart and Lex Luger? Sting's worried about it. The Taskmaster's been worried about it, but Jimmy Hart's not worried about it.
I wouldn't trust you as far as I could throw you. On the other hand, Giant, you've got to look forward to a title defense. In this great city, they're hanging from the rafters out here at the Baltimore Arena. But tonight, other things on your mind, Lex Luger and the torture rack.
Well, the only torture that's going to really happen tonight, and I want you to listen very closely, Lex. If you think that you're going to come out there in that ring and put the greatest world heavyweight champion of all time in the rack, you're sadly mistaken. I am the Giant, the one true immortal, the man that's beaten Hulk Hogan, beaten Randy Savage, beaten Sting, your buddy, thrown you through a table, done everything and anything and wherever I wanted to do it. The rack is a pure fantasy for you. You want reality? You want torture? The choke slam is all that you're going to know.
Giant, I want to point out for the record, that may be Mr. Luger's incentive. He vividly recalls your choke slamming him down through that table. One of the most despicable things I've ever seen happen.
Well, it's a good thing that underneath all those muscles, Lex actually has a brain, but it's a very big one because obviously he's in the ring with me. Lex, you should have lifted a few more weights before you decided to step in the ring with me.
All right, the Giant title defense tonight here at the Great American Bash. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an extraordinary evening. Right now, let's get you back up to the ring and the bondsman.
So, Tony, I'm at 45:01. Let's go ahead and run a timeout right now and tell our friends about something you and I both feel very strongly about: life insurance. The reality is, guys, we're all going to need it at some point, but we don't really want to think about it. And I get that. But think about this for a minute. You have medical insurance, but you might not get sick, but you want that insurance to protect yourself against those big bills. You might not need car insurance because you might never get into a car wreck, but you've got it because it's the law and you want to be covered in case something happens to your car. Here's a bigger question though. What's going to happen to your family when they lose your income, when they lose you? That's something a lot of us don't ever really want to think about, but GoliathLife.com makes it easy to go ahead and make this happen for your family. What I'm talking about is providing peace of mind. GoliathLife.com allows you to get 20 carriers, 20 quotes. Think about that. There's over 20 carriers you can get a quote from in minutes at GoliathLife.com. That is a life hack, Mr. Schiavone. Without GoliathLife.com, you'd have to contact all 20 carriers, fill out 20 applications. You don't have to do that here. You go ahead and submit your information one time. You'll get tons of different quotes. You'll pick everything about it. Once you pick the terms and the payments that fit your budget and fit your needs, you're all set. You can do the online application and immediately you're back in business. You'll skip all the phone calls. You'll skip the paperwork. You'll skip all the crazy invasive conversations. You may not even need a medical exam, but if you need the medical piece, they'll come to you. I know because they came to my office. Check it out right now. You need life insurance. It's peace of mind for your family. It's not for you. It's for them. It's GoliathLife.com. And Tony, I've got everything queued up on my end here. I'm at 45:01. If you want to give us a countdown.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, play.
Bash is for the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. Set for one fall. Introducing first the challenger from Tijuana, Mexico, Rey Mysterio Jr. The debut of Rey Mysterio Jr., a sensation from Mexico, going after the Cruiserweight Championship of the world. And we are joined by Mr. Wrestling Insider, Mike, today. Mike, good to have you with us, and we are in for a treat with Rey Mysterio Jr., I'm sure.
Oh, we certainly are, Tony. It is great to be with you in the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. I think this is a matchup that not only the fans are interested in, but the wrestlers as well in the back. What is all this hype about Rey Mysterio Jr. that we've heard about? Is he going to be able to deliver in this Cruiserweight Championship matchup?
So he's taking on Dean Malenko, and as you heard, this is his debut, and boy, is he going to put on a show. They go 17 minutes and 50 seconds. Meltzer would say this is the best wrestling match on the show and an excellent technical wrestling match. It wasn't the right match to do, and that it was a great Malenko-style mat wrestling match, and Mysterio showed he's versatile enough as a worker to be put in a position where he's not doing Mexican style and still have an excellent match. However, it was Mysterio Jr.'s debut, and he's got far more potential to get over, and they should have played to his stylistic strengths. Someone whose potential niche is, if he gets over like Mysterio Jr. as being more of an attraction star, like a reverse Andre the Giant, and with kids and an ethnic hero, he can't do any jobs until he's over or the fans won't believe in him, even though jobs mean very little nowadays. So he's being pretty critical that they didn't have Rey win because he feels like he's such a huge talent. He should have. I guess in theory, that's hard to argue, but the result is still a 4-star match here, Tony. And when it came time to the readers of the Wrestling Observer, it was nearly unanimous, man. It wasn't even close. I mean, people loved Benoit and Sullivan. They didn't hate the main event, but everyone loves this match.
Well, Benoit and Sullivan was much different because it was false count anywhere. They ended up going, I think, into the bathroom, if I remember correctly on that. But you're saying this is the debut of Rey Mysterio, right?
Yeah, very first time we see him here.
So this is his first time on major US TV, and so we're seeing the beginning of a legend here.
Absolutely. This is why I tracked that whole audio at the beginning, because I think it's a cool little footnote.
Right. And Dean Malenko was something else, man. Just so much fun to be around backstage, and such a great wrestler. Look at that.
They're all over it.
It's WCW as we see both men kip up and both men stand at the ready.
You know what? Sometime, Mike.
It was like polite clapping in the background there.
Let me ask you this. I've often wondered about this when I say it. When we say a kip up.
Yeah.
Didn't it used to be called a nip up?
Yeah, I think that's a racist term now.
Well, it is. And it is a racist term. And I was wondering if, because it's a racist term, is that the reason we call it, we changed the verbiage because of that?
I think so.
Okay. I just wondered why it changed. And my first thought was, well, because it's racist. So there you go.
I mean, I could be wrong.
Yeah. No, you're probably right.
But I think kip up is sort of short for kick up, though.
Got it. Well, then it's the right term, and for many reasons. Look at this. Polite applause again. Mm-hmm.
Never mind.
What's that?
Turns out. Yeah, a lot. I'm seeing there's a difference here.
Okay.
Apparently, a kip up is when you use your hands to spring you, and a nip up is when you spring up with your lower body, and you use that momentum without your arms. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but if you're actually using your hands behind you, that's a kip. And if you're not using your hands, that's a nip.
Wow.
I learned something new today, if that's accurate.
Yeah, I think we all did, if that's accurate. That's cool. I will bounce that off of the man with the mask.
I was going to say, we know one guy knows for sure.
That's right. Oh, man, he was in his element in the Takeshita match the other night. Oh, a couple weeks ago.
Oh man, what a fantastic match that was too.
Yeah, Takeshita's great, buddy. Wow, he's great. Man, I don't know if I guess he's signed with that DDT promotion full time, but we need to get that kid. Look at these guys go, would you? God, Ray, you had to. It's one of the great things about Ray. Not only did he have great moves, but he knew how to take bumps, man. He knew how to make bumps look spectacular.
This is pretty historic what we're seeing. I mean, think about all the great matches we saw these guys have. Their match at Halloween Havoc 96 is one of my absolute favorites. And whenever there's a non-wrestling fan who's like, hey, I'm trying to get into this, or I'm trying to get my wife to watch it, you know, what should I show her first?
Right.
Most of the time I say Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero from Halloween Havoc 97. Because I think just to a casual fan or somebody who's like, well, this is fake or whatever, maybe they don't understand the context of the stories or some of the others or some of the characters and the history of a Ric Flair or Hulk Hogan or what have you. But if you show them Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, they're going to be like, I don't know what I'm watching, but I know it's badass. It's like a comic book movie come to life.
Right.
What do you think of that? I love that. Hammerlock into a body slam.
That's vintage stuff right there.
Old school, and I love it.
Yes, it is. It's like, okay, let's try something different as a strategic part of this match. It opened up working on the arm now. So I'm going to work on this part of the body. I love it. Top wrist lock. Yeah, you see, it's much different than the Conan match we had with El Gato. They tried some mat wrestling stuff, and the fans weren't really into it. Now the fans are kind of calmed down here a little bit, but Rey is doing such a great job of selling these moves. That time when Dean lowered the knee, boom. See how he's kicking his feet? Just subtle stuff makes it look real. Trying to get out of it. And going outside and buying himself some time, selling the arm. Demon is relentless. That old school bicycle rail, which, by the way, we still use, obviously, and just cover up with stuff. I don't like it, though.
I like the old grittier look here.
Yeah, but I just don't like the rail that moves. I just think that there's too much danger in that.
So you like when it's covered in do you like the WWE style where it's all padded?
Yeah, well, not necessarily padded, but at least there's a ring to where it's the fans are to me, just these fans, potential for something bad to happen. God almighty. Dean with that clothesline just exploded from a standing start. I have to say this too, and I hate to give him credit, as you know, but Craig Leather's doing a heck of a job here calling the shots.
Especially when it's somebody we haven't seen before, you know?
Right, yeah. By
the way, this show has 9,000 fans here. We've got 7,323 fans paying $123,406. Meltzer would say a figure which has to be a disappointment considering the amount of hype aimed at the show and that it was in Baltimore, which has traditionally drawn well for major WCW shows. He also would say that Dusty Rhodes, who was nowhere to be found until minutes before the show went on the air, came up with his strongest performance as an announcer on the show. It's always easier to be a good announcer when the show was clicking. And Tony Schiavone was actually good as well. Although there was a spot where he was hyping the Bash at the Beach and brought up last year's fiasco, saying there were 100,000 fans at that show last year. At that point, his nose grew to about the size of the state of Montana. Speaking of announcers, Pedro Morales, who does the Spanish language broadcast on pay-per-view for WCW, was injured after the show. They had several set up gimmick tables for when it was time for Bischoff to take the bump. So in case he missed one, he'd hit another. When Morales was coming back from the broadcast, he accidentally stepped on one of the gimmick tables, which collapsed, and he fell 4 feet and landed on his elbow. His elbow wound up all swollen, and his hip, knee, and back were all injured in the fall, though he refused to go to the hospital. Rhodes mentioned the death of Murdoch at the beginning of the live main event show and again at the start of the pay-per-view. So Dick Murdoch no longer with us. What do you remember about Pedro falling, if anything, or about Dusty just showing up right before the show went on the air?
I don't remember about Dusty showing up right before the show went on the air. That I do not remember. But this may have been right when Eric let Dusty go as Booker, but still use him as an announcer. Because I remember Eric telling me that he was going to remove Dusty as Booker. And I said to Eric, I said, does that mean you're firing him? He said, no. He said, this company needs to have Dusty Rhodes here, so we're going to use him in other capacities. So that may have been Dusty saying, you know, fuck you. Because Kevin Sullivan became the next Booker, I do believe, after that.
Yeah, and Sullivan was responsible for a lot of the quote unquote heat that WCW had with the NWO here in this era, right?
Yeah, right. Absolutely, he was. I don't remember where we were, but I remember after he had removed Dusty as Booker, and Dusty held some pretty good meetings. The first meeting with Kevin was much different. We were so used to Dusty meetings that Kevin's meeting was not that good. He depended on us to help him out. And I really liked working with Kevin. I did, but I've been so used to Dusty. So that was probably why Dusty showed up late. I do remember Pedro getting hurt. I remember that, but Pete was a good guy, and he just, you know, always had a smile on his face, shrugged it off, didn't make a big deal out of it. I think we were more worried about him than he was himself. Well, he's an old school guy, right? Good shot of the crowd.
Yeah, I like those crowd shots. We don't get many like that anymore.
Yeah. You know, we worked at, recently when we worked in Baltimore, we worked at the Chesapeake Insurance Employers Arena, which is at University of Baltimore, Maryland County, and on campus there, smaller venue. And of course, we had a great Baltimore crowd, but it's a smaller venue, and I really missed this place. I really did. This, I guess Baltimore, like all the other cities in the country, you know, things have changed. It's a little bit more dangerous, I understand, to go down to Baltimore now than it used to be. A lot of cities can say that. I'm not going to get any reasons why, but Baltimore will go down as one of my favorite towns to work in. You know, you asked me earlier what were the top Jim Crockett towns. My favorite towns to work in were Baltimore, Norfolk, Greensboro because of it being Greensboro, Charlotte because it was home, and Chicago. Those are my favorite towns. Did not like working the Omni. And you know what's funny was when I used to live in Charlotte and do the TBS studio show with David in the mornings, we would fly in and fly out the same day. First flight in, 3:15 flight out, or maybe 4 o'clock flight out, get back home. And I remember thinking many, many times, how could anybody live here? I just so much do not like Atlanta. I did. I was thinking, Lois and I talked about that. And now I've lived in the Atlanta area for 31 years, and I would not live anywhere else. Isn't that amazing how your thoughts and feelings change about a place?
Yeah.
It's just amazing. I just love where I live. I love the area. Now, I do not live in Atlanta. I live on the outskirts of Atlanta. I live in the suburbs. But I don't want to live anywhere else. Lois would move in a minute. In a minute, she'd move. She's talked about it. But this is just a wonderful place because I can go anywhere I want to go with a direct flight. That's number one. And number two, we live in a safe, good neighborhood, just a good place. It ain't Huntsville, the number one place in America to live.
Can you believe that?
That's something, isn't it?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Even they even voted Huntsville the number one place in America to live, even though they knew that Shuley lived in Huntsville.
Which is really saying a lot.
Yeah, it is. Because, I mean, who'd want to be his neighbor?
I can't imagine very many people would be.
No. I mean, you call him a friend, which blows me away. Well, you call Dave Silva a friend, which means you call anybody a friend.
So what's your heat with Silva?
I have no heat with Silva. Just Silva being Silva, you know. I cannot now watch this match without noticing the haircut. What's our referee's name again?
Randy Eller.
Randy Eller. He has done a great job with those bangs.
It's a good haircut. I like that haircut.
Randy Eller looks like he should be on a pit crew, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Should be the NASCAR race on a pit crew. Do you like NASCAR?
Nope.
Me neither. And you know what's funny about that when we talk about how things change in your mind?
Yeah.
When I was growing up, we went to a lot of NASCAR races.
Really?
Oh yeah, I went to Martinsville, went to Charlotte. Where else? We went to Poconos. And that's back when Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt and the Allisons race. And
good old days.
The good old days. And now I wouldn't go to a race if you paid me to go. And I think there's a lot of fans that say that now too, because they ain't what they used to be.
We got another question here. This one's from Brad. He wants to know, Tony, what was your first impression of Rey Mysterio?
I thought he was sensational. I thought that he could just do so many things and look so good and was so smooth. And not only that, he was a sweetheart of a guy, which I really appreciated. He really had that great personality in the backstage area.
My gosh, look at that. Look at the crowd.
Top rope, and he stopped and planted Malenko out on the concrete. How about
Meltzer would say, most in WCW that had never seen him before and were skeptical of him, seeing how small he was when he showed up, wound up raving about this match.
Yeah.
However, he showed less charisma than I've seen of him in any match in a long time. And what's interesting is I just saw not too long ago, somebody posted a picture to Twitter that I retweeted, a photo of him from 1989 when he was just 14 years old, probably right before he made his debut or right after he made his debut. But it's amazing to think about that was 7 years prior to this.
Wow.
I mean, he's just 21 here and doing all this.
So what's that line that Meltzer used about charisma? What did he say?
He said he showed less charisma than he's seen of him in any match in a long time.
Yeah. That is Dave Meltzer telling us, well, you may not know him, but I've been watching him for a long time because I know.
Yeah. He got a little bit of criticism the other day. He said, you're not much of a wrestling fan if you don't know Tenryu. And I think it was Raj Giri from Wrestling Inc. says, I know tons of wrestling fans and they all know Rey Mysterio Jr. or not Rey Mysterio, Randy Savage. Mm-hmm. But I don't know that many of them would even know who Tenryu was.
Yeah, exactly.
Could you pick up Tenryu out of a lineup, Tony?
No, I could not and probably wouldn't want to.
Meltzer would write this about this match. No matter how much charisma Chavez had, if he had lost his first two big matches on American pay-per-view, a 145-pound guy whose main appeal was to Mexicans would have never become the biggest box office draw in boxing. Anyway, talking about Rey, Tiger Mask potential is already done to casual fans because after they saw him in his debut against what fans perceive as a mid-level guy and he lost twice. After this match and even more after Nitro, it leaves one with the impression that he's a kid with a few cute moves, but not a threat to anyone important. That's a fair criticism, I guess, because we know that Mysterio is not necessarily going to be programmed for the world championship. It's not going to be Mysterio and the Giant anytime soon here on the show. But when it comes to the actual, and that's it, man, power bomb in the corner, feet on the ropes. I like that finish, man. He cheated to win too.
Yeah. I liked everything about the match. Fans did too. Look at them standing.
Yeah, they're into it.
Yeah, they like the finish, even though the heel won. But man, Rey gave it some great stuff. What's he doing? What's he talking about?
Talking a little shit here.
Yeah, talking a little shit, pointing on the mat.
Let's track it here.
Mike, go ahead.
Oh, tremendous move there by Mysterio as he springboarded off the top. Now we catch it in the corner. Great follow-up attempt. Turns around and twists, but drop down into the powerbomb. We see Malenko with both feet on the middle strand of ropes, and that's exactly what it took to hold down Rey Mysterio Jr. And Dean Malenko retains the WCW Cruiserweight belt.
Thanks a lot to Mike today for joining us as we go to
Mean Gene.
Speaking of WCW heavyweight champions, he has his eye on the man who stands 7'4", 470 some odd pounds tonight. It's you and the Giant for all of the marbles.
You know, Gene, I'll be honest with you. WCW requests this interview out of respect to them and respect to you. I'm here physically, but mentally, Gene, my mind's a million miles away.
You're in the ring.
It's on the ring, and it's on the Giant. I'm not going to stand here and shout and scream and tell you what I'm going to do to the Giant when I get to that ring, because I will say this. The Giant has changed the face of World Championship Wrestling forever. A force, a man of his size and strength, a man with that finishing maneuver has never, ever been in this great sport of ours. A sport I'm proud to be in, a sport I've had the great fortune to be a world champion here in World Championship Wrestling, to be a 4-time U.S. heavyweight champion, and to be currently the world television champion and currently the world tag team champion. I take great pride in that, a lot of pride. Giant, I am going to say one thing to you. You think you're invincible. That could be what works in my favor, because when a man thinks he's invincible, that's when he makes mistakes, because you're a human being, Giant. You're going to make mistakes. And Gene, I plan on capitalizing on each and every one of them. I've got a belt around my waist. I've got a belt on this shoulder. When I leave that ring, God be willing, I want a belt on this shoulder.
I'm going to have a belt after all of this is over with. Right now, let's get you back up to the ring.
Right before that promo was over, did you hear all the clapping?
No.
That was the standing ovation from the locker room when Rey Mysterio came back in.
Wow.
You could hear it in the background.
Wow. I didn't notice it.
Dude, that was awesome.
I like how Gene said after this interview, I'm going to need a belt. Why couldn't Luger, when he pointed, why couldn't he tuck the thumb?
We should ask him sometime.
You know, when everybody points, if you're watching us on video, you point like this.
Right.
He pointed like that. He couldn't tuck the thumb. I don't get it.
Why does it bother you?
I don't know, because it's so disconcerting. It's just like
something about it bothers you.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Look at Big Boss Man, Big Bubba, whatever he was going by here.
I don't know why, but whatever he's going by here.
Well, he went by a lot of things, didn't he?
He did.
Big Bubba.
How would you describe this look in particular?
Big Bubba. No, this would be like, this would be like a biker look.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be a biker look. Oh man. Go ahead, tell me what
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? So coming out now, it's John Tenta. Big Bubba's already in the ring.
Yeah.
They go 5 minutes and 24 seconds. Meltzer says they're put in a bad spot following the previous match. Bubba worked harder than I've seen him work in a long time, but Tenta can't get over as a face. And with all the TV time devoted to this angle, nobody cared. After the match, Tenta cut off a little of Bubba's beard.
Mm-hmm. How many stars?
1.
Yeah.
So as a heads up, they did have some dark matches here. You had Rocco Rock pin Jerry Sags. Then you had VK Wall Street beat Jim Powers. Then you had Jim Duggan beat Disco Inferno.
Oh God.
Then we did Ric Flair doing a promo at the end of the TV show, which was like the countdown show, if you will. And then we saw the Steiners, Ice Train and Norton. That was fun. Saw Conan and Pat Tanaka dressed up as El Gato. DDP and Lord of the Rings match with Marcus Bagwell was decent. And then, boy, what a match we just saw with Dean and Ray. 4 stars. Go out of your way to see it.
Yeah.
First time we're going to see Ray in WCW. But after all that, Tenta and Big Bubba. But then, man, Benoit and Kevin Sullivan, Sting and Regal, and the main event. This is fun.
Wait a minute. After this, we only got 3 more matches to go.
Oh, well, we got the Flair match and then the Giant Luger.
Right.
I kind of consider those like co-main events, though.
I got you. Jimmy Hart. Oh, by the way, I talked to Jimmy Hart on the phone last week. How about that? We were, Lois and I listened to Sirius XM radio a lot, and we listened to 60s Gold. And they play Keep On Dancing of the Gentrys all the time. It's got to be daily. And every time we hear it, Lois says, "You talked to Jimmy lately?" I said, "No." She said, why don't you talk to him? So I sent him a text. I said, "I listen to Keep On Dancing. I'm thinking of you all the time." And I was wondering, do you get royalties for that? Well, he called me immediately. He said, "Hey, darling, no, I don't text." I said, "Okay, you got it." He said, and then I said, "Do you get royalties for Keep On Dancing?" And he didn't even answer me. He just said, "I'll tell you what," he said, "I wrote all these songs for WCW that we never used, and they're in some sort of vault somewhere that Turner has, that I just like know what's been done with them songs." I went, "Jimmy, I have no idea, buddy, but how you doing?" "I'm doing good. I'm doing great, brother." Just, it was great talking to him, which goes back to what I had said earlier on one of these podcasts, that I really need to stay in touch with people that I work with back then.
I feel bad for these guys. Can you imagine? I mean, these are both big time legends in the WWF. I mean, there's Earthquake and Big Boss Man over like Rover.
Right.
But my goodness, man, you got to follow Dean Malenko and Rey Mysterio, and you don't have your old gimmicks.
Yep.
That's tough.
Well, someone's got to. And if Sullivan's booking, which I think he is, he's not going to do it. He's not going to put himself in that spot. Not going to put Flair in that spot. This has to be the one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Disco Inferno was on one of the opening matches against Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes. I heard Hacksaw's health has declined a little bit. Have you heard that?
I think he's kicked out. I think
has he really?
Yeah, he posts video on social media all the time. I mean, I know he had a scare, but
okay, good.
I think he's all over that and good to go.
I'm again. I should not. I should know. I should go on social media and take a look and see what's going on in the world.
Uh-oh.
Up that close to break that.
Thought he was going to slam his no-no into it, but instead he slammed his ankle. If you could have somebody smash your leg into the ring post or smash your balls into the ring post, what would you pick and why?
Well, I would probably smash my balls into the ring post.
Eric Rottencrotch would too, friend of the show.
Yeah.
He would actually, I think he pays girls to do that.
No. See, that's much different for me.
Oh, how so? You don't like somebody?
My balls are an absolute unused part of my body right now. So I'd rather smash my balls in and then, really hurt, and it would hurt for a while. But my leg, I'd have to limp around, and I couldn't get around, walk backstage and all that. So there you go. It's the least used part of my body. So, so there, that's why. It's not because of any degenerate thing like Rottencrotch has,
What? You don't even really know Rottencrotch. How's he?
Well, you just said he pays girls to do that.
No, I said I think he would. I don't think he has.
You think he would. So you think he's a degenerate, but I say the word degenerate and you just slap me in the face for saying it.
Wait.
When you implied it.
Help me understand.
Now let me understand. You implied, what's Jimmy Hart doing?
He's doing a little distraction Jones here.
Yes, he does. And the Snake Glass had no idea. Get him, Big John.
He thought Bubba won the match. He was mistaken.
Yes.
Tinter's got the scissors.
Oh, God.
Jimmy Hart. He's gonna cut the beard. Big Bubba.
Get him, John. Bubba retreated right there. Head-butted. That's thinking to grab Jimmy Hart. I think he got a little of his beard right there.
I think
Some
he
of
did.
his chinny chin chin.
Cut it off.
Right off.
We cut it off.
He sure did.
We cut it.
He cut off the beard of Big Bubba. You're
That sucks, dude. He didn't really cut off the beard of Big Bubba. He just got a little bit. I'm disappointed in you guys.
Yeah, well, not as much as we were in ourselves.
I don't know why that's funny, but it is.
Earthquake, John Tenta, the Shark, Avalanche. Oh, Lordy.
Take a listen to this.
Big John Tenta. The Macho Man, Randy Savage, outside of this locker room. He is pacing up and down like a cat. He has been reinstated to World Championship Wrestling. We'll see him tomorrow night on Nitro. Joining me at this time, Deborah and Steve McMichael, Terry and Kevin Greene. Tonight, these two gentlemen are going to be facing Arn Anderson and, of course, his partner, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, who has really stirred the pot. They're going to be coached tonight by none other than Bobby the Brain Heenan. Steve McMichael, very quickly, the game plan. We know about game plans.
I don't care about a game plan, Gene. Baby, I don't care if the roof comes off this building. Flair, Anderson, we're coming to get you, baby.
All right, Kevin Greene.
All I know, baby, is this like goal line, baby. It's short yardage. I'm coming hard. I'm coming heavy. We're not giving up an inch, baby. Watch out. We're coming hard. That's it, dude.
All right, a couple of football greats, and here's the madman that really has been behind a lot of what's happened in recent weeks. The Macho Man, Randy Savage. Bobby Heenan, scared to death by your presence.
The smell of winning is in the air, and a little perfume, too. We're going to do a goal line stand, and then we're going to knock Nature Boy and the Enforcer into the end zone. These guys right here, Kevin Greene and Steve McMichael, these guys are psyched to the max. Are you psyched to the max? Hey, psych, brother. Baby, I'm with you, Daddy. Right now, me, Gene Oakland, you're in a huddle, and this is the winning team. Am I right or am I right? Talk to me. Am I right? Let's go right now.
All right, they're headed out the door. They're leaving me in the locker room. Terry and Deborah McMichael, Kevin Greene, Steve McMichael. I'm still getting a lot of chin music there for the Macho Man, Randy Savage. They're going to be facing Flair, Anderson, Remember Woman, and Elizabeth. They're not the nicest ladies in the world. They've been known to have a trick or two up their sleeve or elsewhere. Right now, let's get you back up to the ring.
We should have had a baby counter on that one, as we're about to start a Falls Count Anywhere match, and this is over Kevin Sullivan's baby, his wife, Nancy Sullivan, who now is caught in the middle of this feud with Chris Benoit. That's going to continue to build and build and build and build, and this is going to be a pretty legendary match we're about to see. But that interview we just heard, the overuse of the word baby, and then Kevin Greene telling us over and over and over how hard he's going to come.
Okay, here's what I took away from that interview. This is why Randy Savage was so great. Randy Savage, if you'll recall his interviews, he did a lot of turning around during his interviews, right?
Yep.
Okay. But he always had a shirt on that said Macho Man on the back, because he knew that when he turned his head away from the camera, which you're really not supposed to do, but he did, that he wanted to make sure people knew that it was the Macho Man. That's how great he was at what he did.
Yeah.
And when he turned there and he's looking at Kevin Sullivan or Kevin Greene and Mongo, you see Macho Man. You hear him, but you see him. That's what I took away from that. You, of course, being the degenerate that you can be, took away something else. So also during, I thought this was all a work.
They're getting after it, and it's entertaining. And this is, this is a perfect wrestling card at this point to me. You got something for everybody.
Yeah.
Kevin getting ready for those. You see that?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. This is,
if you could have one do-over in wrestling, don't you wish we could all go back and change the Benoit stuff, man? My goodness.
Absolutely.
It's a downer.
It's probably the worst tragedy ever in wrestling, and we've had plenty of them.
Without question.
Yeah. And not necessarily because of how how good he was in the ring, just because he's a human, and we all loved him.
I've talked to guys who were really good friends with him, and their kids would identify him as their favorite wrestler, and maybe he even once upon a time gave them like a pair of tights or something, and just some sort of keepsake or a toy, that quote unquote Uncle Chris gave him. And then how do you tell him, a little kid one day? That's tough, man.
Yeah, it is. We, being in the business for as long as I've been, and not including the 18 years I was somewhere else, you develop relationships with everybody. You do. I mean, and some of them are more casual than others. Some are just, hey, how you doing? But you feel for all of them. You feel that they're a part of you.
Yeah.
And it's funny when Kevin and I talk these days, we're always talking about baseball. And Kevin called me one day, left a message. And so I called him back thinking he wanted to talk AEW, and only thing he wanted to talk about was the baseball season starting.
Let's back it here. They're going to the bathroom.
Yeah, it's classic.
Get out. Can you imagine this? Oh, yeah, there's some boys taking some relief in there. I guarantee you.
Yeah, these guys are like, what the fuck is going on, right?
I need you to go to the bathroom during this thing. My goodness. I've never seen anything like this ever. On a pay-per-view or anything in World Championship Wrestling. I tell you what, they are in the men's room on the lobby level. He's going to pin him near the commode, it appears. Oh, man. Doug Dellinger got his head in there now. Going to slam it down.
God. Oh.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. What did I say at the onslaught? If you don't get him in the ring, the Taskmaster is in his element in the bathroom, right here in the John, if you will, in Baltimore, Maryland.
I don't think I'd ever want to lay on the floor of a men's bathroom.
No. Nor have my head slammed in the door, which it was, by the way.
Yeah, that was
legit.
No kidding around. That happened.
Yeah.
And knowing what we know now, that's less than awesome.
Right. The
well, wow.
This wasn't playing real well with security, now was it?
He's got him in there.
God.
Doug Gilligan having a hard time right there with security. Wow. I tell you, there's a lady. There's a lady in the men's bathroom. Look at that. There is a woman in the men's job. Can you believe that? Yes, I can. She just stopped off. They got to get some relief here, baby. It's only down the laundry chute now. You know how them chutes do? They come out on the roof here somewhere. I've seen everything. A night of first. I never thought he's got a roll of paper towels. Hit him with some toilet paper. Man, what a fight this is. I never thought I would ever say in this sport, ever have to say the line, he's putting his head in the commode. Well, brother, when it's signed no and falls anywhere, you should have known it. They were in the men's room and they were going at it. Kevin Sullivan and the task.
Dude, this is such an iconic WCW moment.
Oh, wow.
What a great show we've seen so far. I mean, the Steiners and Scott Norton was so fun. And then Rey Mysterio and Dean Malenko and Rey's debut. You get the Conan thing. Now you got this False Count Anywhere deal. This is good stuff, dude. Do you like this as much as me, or are you?
No, I'm loving this. I'm loving this. I love Dusty's comment. There's a woman in the men's bathroom. She had to stop off and relieve herself.
Get some relief.
Oh, man. Good comment. Man, the security had its work cut out for him there.
No doubt.
Yeah.
How fun, man.
Doug Dellinger trying to hold people back.
Fighting through the crowd.
Camera's got to fight through the crowd too, right?
Yeah.
See him? That's Jackie Crockett trying to fight through the crowd there. Jackie pushing people out of the way. You better believe it. You better believe it.
Oh, down the stairs.
Uh-huh.
Dude. Some big time shit here, dude.
Yeah, man. This is a lot of things I don't remember, as you know, but I remember this. I remember this, buddy. Here we go again.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know that I want to do that.
No, those steps, you know. Oh, just kick him in the nuts. Why not?
Just kick him in the nuts.
Their legs were splayed open. Boom. Is splayed a word?
It is now.
Splayed. Splayed open.
Out in the great splayed open. Man, you know, listen, we're talking over two really great matches. I hope if you're going to go back and watch two matches from this, you watch Dean and Ray and then Sullivan and Benoit here. I know there's a lot of folks who can't watch and enjoy a Chris Benoit match, and I get that.
Yep.
But Meltzer gave this one 4 stars as well. To recap, match 1 with the Steiners, 3 stars. Match 2 with Conan, 2 stars. DDP got 2.5 stars. Malenko and Ray, 4 stars. Tenta and Bubba Ray, 1 star. And now another 4-star match here. And we've still got 2 more big time treats, at least for me. Sting and Regal. And then Rick and Arn tagging up. That'll be fun. And the main event, a spectacle. The Giant and Luger.
Hey.
We got a bunch of questions here. Let's do another one. Mike wants to know, hey, Tony, Dusty's reaction to Benoit and Sullivan wrestling in the bathroom is one of the funniest calls of all time.
Yeah.
Did you have a blast working with the Dream on commentary in this era?
Loved it. Loved everything about it. And there's been some people that have been very critical of Dusty's work as an announcer. I just thought it was entertaining stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody reached out to me recently. Oh, I know who reached out to me recently. It was Cody. He sent me a text. And Cody said, I'm watching you and Brain and Dusty call a match. Did you have fun? I said it was the most fun I had. The most fun I had calling wrestling was with Dusty and Bobby together because they were hilarious. People have seen on YouTube the clip of the Mafia kick by now, which to me, it just exemplifies the fun that we had together. Yeah, I love talking because Dusty was like, you know, he was Dusty.
Right.
He was Dusty Rhodes being Dusty Rhodes. And if you weren't entertained by Dusty Rhodes, then something was wrong with you. So, and not only that, there was a part of me still being a mark, pinching myself that I'm working with Dusty and Bobby Heenan. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. But Dusty did have that call, and the one where, and we have it in the archives here, where Sherry gets up on top and does a splash on Colonel Parker.
Oh yeah. Oh, look at this. So Benoit has put a table over the top rope here, over the corner. I've only seen this in ECW at this point, I think.
Okay.
But
they're jammed in the rafters here. Up on top is Benoit.
Benoit on top of the table, which is mounted up.
so it just turned into a backdrop onto the table, and now Benoit is laying out prone on it. Elvin Sullivan's climbing to the second rope, trying to figure out what he's going to do next. Steps over, they're setting up. Here we go. He almost over rotated him. This is scary stuff here, man. Benoit picks up the win though. 4-star affair. Fans go bananas.
Yes.
It's a great line for you, dude. He didn't win. He survived. Look at you.
How about that?
Every now and again, you're pretty good at this.
Yeah, more not than well. Jimmy Hart, man, they used Jimmy a lot, didn't they?
Yeah, man. It's like Eric always says, he never saw a red light he didn't love. And then here comes Arn Anderson. That was cool. It looked like there's going to be some Horseman friction. No, let me have a turn. So now they're both beating the shit out of him, and fans are going bananas.
Mm-hmm.
Are Arn and the Horsemen over here in Baltimore or what?
Wow. I was thinking the same thing, man.
Here comes the rest of the dungeon, which is kind of laughable, I guess, at this point. But still, well, not at this point, at any point.
Holy shit.
Look at the crowd, though. They're so into Arn here.
All right, I know who Ming is. Who's the big guy beside of Ming?
Max Muscle.
Max Muscle. Wow.
You don't remember working with him?
Not at all. Well, you know what? I do remember seeing him, but
I don't know why, but that tickled me. Not at all.
I mean, he, as they say, had a cup of coffee. That was about it, right?
Yeah.
All right, here we go again.
Look at
Watch
this.
Watch
This is where the big boys play, Greene.
Oh.
See him right here. I mean, if you wasn't watching this, you should have. From the bathroom to the top of the table, served it up, Horseman style. Gets the 1, 2, 3, and then a real whooping by the Horseman before the Dungeon of Doom could come to the rescue. They're stuffing a mud hole in it right here at the Great American Bag.
A show of unification for the Horsemen. Gene, have you ever seen anything like this?
Tony, I gotta be honest with you. I don't think I've seen anything like that. And I'm not too certain I've seen any. Well, I've maybe a couple of times. Woman and Elizabeth joining me. Arn Anderson coming in from the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah. You, once again, the Horsemen back together, apparently.
Chris Benoit, step in here.
Was this all?
Yeah, there's been wannabes, righteousness, thought they were horsemen. They're out of here. There's people that dreamed and had aspirations of being able to do this. This man earned the right. What you just saw was the head of the snake being severed. You have tried to poison the most elite fighting unit in the history of all professional sports. Somebody today earned their stripes. His name is Chris Benoit. Sullivan, Taskmaster, whatever you want to call yourself. Now we are truly at war. Bring on the troops, because if you look around, we are loaded for bear.
Very quickly, Chris Benoit.
Sullivan, you have been served. I warned you. Don't mess with the Horsemen. You didn't listen. Tonight, I put you in your place, Sullivan, once and for all.
Thank you. Chris Benoit, apparently reunited with the rest of the Horsemen. Arn Anderson.
Football players, you want a visual aid? You just got it.
Ric Flair.
I just saw 2 All-Pros in here with their women decked to the hilt. Now I wonder what they're thinking. McMichael, look at our All-Pro defensive tackle. Look at our All-Pro linebacker, Kevin Greene. Oh, look at the girls. And look at the mind behind us. Woo!
Bobby the Brain Heenan. Coach Heenan. That's what they're calling you now back here.
I got a lot of things I'd like to call you. You've insinuated to the people out there and to Savage and everybody else that I'm terrified, that I'm scared to death, and I'm shaken.
Take a look at yourself.
I have looked at myself, and there's nothing wrong with me. I'm a man, and I know what I'm talking about. My feet are on the ground, and my head's right here. Now, you're trying to put something into his mind to do something to me. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen to me.
All
There's
right.
a lot of things
Thank you.
that Macho Man would like to do that he can't do anymore. Right, Liz? Woo! Macho, Greene, McMichael, the Horsemen are in town. Woo!
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Horsemen back together again. Woo! Ladies, please. Let's get back to the ring.
Dude, how fun was that segment?
That was fun, man.
That's the right word for that one. Fun.
Fun. With the exception of Flair not looking at the fucking camera. God, that bothered me so much. I don't know why it bothered me so much. Flair was always great at looking right in the camera, but he was looking at the monitor the whole time. Check this out, would you?
So
man.
That's the old Wildcat Willie right there.
Yes, it is. Jeeves.
Is Regal like arguably one of the most underrated talents of all time?
Absolutely.
What a great character. What a great in-ring performer.
Yeah. The utter disdain for, and oh, look at this.
Some goofs in the crowd here, buddy.
Yeah, that's our front row goofs. Just he looked down his nose at people.
Yes.
He and I were talking about Dusty the other day, and I asked him about his relationship with Dusty. He said he had a great relationship. He said it was Dusty that came up with Lord Steven Regal for him. So, wow, Stinger. You know what?
Of course, he's one half of the tag team champs here with Luger.
Right, with Luger. We always talk about Surfer Sting with the spiked blonde hair and the Crow Sting.
We never talk about this version.
That's right, with the long hair, the long brown hair.
Crow hair, but surfer paint.
Right. It was actually not even crow hair, because crow hair was more pulled back and kind of slick, right? This was like, I don't know, but we don't talk about that, but he looked good, man.
I'm excited about this match.
Yeah.
Meltzer, by the way, he dug it. He gave it 3.5 stars. They're going to go 16 minutes and 30 seconds.
Very cool.
Meltzer would say this match was for the most part Regal's one-man show, and what a show he put on.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to all facets of doing a realistic looking, totally worked wrestling match, complete with some shtick and interviews, this guy's probably the most complete performer in the whole company.
Yeah. Meltzer's right on that one.
It's a shame that we never got to see him as like positioned to be like one of the top guys.
Yeah, you know, you're right, but he had a good career.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm
And I
not
still
saying that at all.
and I still think the Jericho pissing in his tea segment is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in wrestling.
You like that one?
I like that. I like because just the way the reaction that Regal gave when he took a sip of the tea was priceless. It was so well done.
Believe it or not, Regal was actually Ric Flair's last match over in Japan.
Wow.
Yeah. February 12th, 2008. At the Budokan.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fun to think about that. You know, those guys were able to cross paths again in 08. I mean, we're watching something here from 96.
Well, if the world ever gets back to what it once was, and it probably never will, because as you know, I'm a pessimist, we should take a trip to Japan.
You and I?
Yeah.
I'd be glad to go. I've only been one time.
Yeah. I mean, we could take some of the slapdicks with us and maybe leave some of them there.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. Say, find your way back. You can do it. You're a grown man. You got a credit card. You can make it. You can make it. Got a credit card, got a passport. We'll see you back in the United States. Just dump them off like somewhere in Roppongi. That's a great idea, man.
I love Sting here. Isn't that fun?
Yeah. Two legendary performers, and I believe Regal here was much younger than Sting. Regal was just a kid here.
Yeah, Regal is a kid here.
Yeah. And he looked much older than he was. He could work the fans too, couldn't he?
Yeah, so I guess Sting's late 30s here.
Okay. And Regal's in his early 20s here, I think.
Yeah, maybe mid. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 28.
28. Oh, okay. So he's older than I thought.
He's just turned 28. But still, to your point, Sting's about 9 years older, I think.
Yeah.
Dude.
That was the Pelvis move.
With,
That was the Pelvis.
How do you not love Regal, dude?
Yeah. Without doing anything, that was so entertaining.
It was great.
Yeah. And of course, we talk about from Blackpool and the Blackpool Combat Club that he now runs in AEW. Wow, look at that. Regal being from Blackpool's a shoot. It's Blackpool is now I haven't read much about Blackpool, but I've heard a lot about it from Regal. It's a seaside town in England that is a destination for a lot of people in Great Britain, but it is, I don't know. We would look at it like, really? Really? This is it?
Oh, really?
Yeah. There is a movie out called, it's a movie years ago, it was with Jerry Lewis and Oliver Platt, called Funny Bones. And a lot of it was shot in Blackpool. And it was about Oliver Platt being a stand-up comedian who was not a good stand-up comedian compared to his father, who was played by Jerry Lewis. And Jerry went to see his son make this big debut in Vegas, and his son bombed. So his son just left the United States, went back to Blackpool, where the family was from, to try to regain his funny bones. And it showed how the culture in Blackpool back then. And it's very, very well done. So it's worth a watch. It's called Funny Bones. And so Regal is from there. And he's told me stories about being in Blackpool. It's pretty cool. Regal's a damn good storyteller, by the way. And one of the greatest joke tellers of all time.
I heard you guys had a little Regal stand-up show.
Yeah.
Car ride in Dallas, just one after another.
Yeah, me and Dawkins. Yeah, when we were coming back to your place that you had. Yeah, it was just, and then of course I try to remember them all, and I tell Lois these jokes. I say, listen, Regal told me this joke. You got to listen to it, and I'll tell it, and she'll look at me like like I got, I don't know, something grow out of the top of my head, and I know it's funny when she doesn't get it. That is when Lois does not think it's funny, then it is really funny. Because she has no sense of humor when it comes to stuff like that. Like, did you ever see, I probably brought this up here before, sorry. Did you ever see Joe Pera Talks With You on?
No, I haven't watched it yet. You told me about it, but I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah. Insanely funny, understated comedy. And Lois hates it, so I know it's really funny. She rolls her eyes at it when I watch it. And I've been watching it again. So,
well,
anyway,
let me bring this up then. We're talking about what's funny, what's not funny. Chase wants to know, Tony, why are you all not taking fan questions? It's been 2 weeks, and all we've been hearing is 2 hours worth of goose talk and no fan questions being answered. If you're not going to do fan questions, then bring back Tony Reed's rap. The goose talk has ran its course.
Goose doesn't think so, now does he? Well, maybe the goose did run his course, but buddy, I invite you to go on TikTok and watch some goose videos.
You like those goose videos, don't you?
Love them. Love the goose videos.
Because goose don't care.
No, dude, goose fuck you up.
Well, here's what he wants to know. Are we bringing back Tony Reed's rap?
No, we're not.
Why not?
Because it was no good.
Why do people keep asking for it then?
It's a small sliver of our audience. They want to see it.
Two Count Kyle says, Tony, I've spent an obscene amount of hours listening to you and Conrad, and it never fails to put a smile on my face. Always one of the highlights of my week. On Hood. My question is, we always hear how size was such a big thing in WWE and that Vince favored the giant bodybuilder types. Was this still an issue in WCW? With Malenko, Rey, and Benoit all putting on bangers here, all under 6 feet, it felt like this was the place to showcase your talents if height wasn't on your side in this era. Also, if Malenko knew 1,000 holds, how many does the Goose know?
The Goose knows 2. Okay.
Okay.
He will flap his wings and land on your head, and he will bow up as you come at him and break an arm with his wings. That's the 2. So
you don't think the Goose knows how to bite or uses his feet?
Oh, I think no. He uses his feet when he flies on top of his feet.
Okay.
I don't think he bites. I mean, he can if he wants. He could probably rip an ear off if he wanted to with his beak. But yeah, Goose of 3 holds. Let's put it that way. But thank you for saying we've been entertaining.
Yeah, but here's the real question. Do you think this is the place for guys who aren't monsters? Like WCW is a better alternative than WWE?
There's no question. I also think that this company and guys in the backstage area, knowing that Vince often said he didn't like the smaller guys, I think we tried to prove a point by using them. And that's why the Cruiserweight division was born. And then, as we know, the Cruiserweight division became the driving force. I mean, you could say it was the NWO and Hogan and all those guys, but it was our Cruiserweight matches that made us what we were. Don't you think, in many ways, wrestling-wise?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think a lot of that Vince, a lot of the Vince stuff that he liked the smaller, the bigger guys, we knew that, and we just said, okay, let's push these smaller guys. Thanks for your question.
On Hood.
We appreciate that. You know, I can't get enough of this.
What?
Real nifty 5, y'all. On Hood. Or should I say, real sporty. Sporty Cribs. Coming this week on Hood.
Well, brought to you by our good friend, Coach Rosie.
Oh.
I want to point out that Crip Mac recently tweeted out, Crip Mac don't recommend no relationships. Let's take a listen.
I'm going to let y'all know something, fans. Never do relationships. You know why? There's never no honesty. There's never no loyalty. On Hood, there's a gang of insecurity going on in every motherfucking relationship. You can't trust it. Just have you some friends, live your life, and do 5.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Crip Mac don't recommend no relationships.
Yeah, he's a man, buddy. He has a good handle on life.
Where are you at on that? Do you recommend relationships? Are you for them?
Yeah, I'm for him. Yeah. Let me tell. Can I get serious for a moment?
Please do. I love when you're serious.
All right. And by the way, I apologize for being serious on this match. That is such a great match.
Great match, but you know what? It's hard for us to be entertaining when it's really good.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, my brother-in-law passed away, and Lois and I drove up to Virginia to be with my sister and her family. And we were at the funeral, which was graveside. And I reconnected with so many people, many of my cousins, and so many of my friends that I hadn't seen in forever. And people I built relationships with. And you get a real good feeling when you reconnect with people that you've lost touch with. And so that's why relationships are important. And I think it's always bad to say this, but because you never enjoy a funeral, but my brother-in-law had been very, very sick for a long time and had been in hospice, and it was terrible being there for his funeral, but it was wonderful reconnecting with people you had relationships in the past, from high school and college, from a hometown. So look at that guy with the chicken in the front row, holding up a fucking chicken. Goose kick that little motherfucker's ass. So anyway, that's why relationships are important. I feel. And they get more important the older you get. Now, maybe he's talking about girlfriend, boyfriend type thing. You think that's what he's talking about? Or as Dusty would say.
I think he means boyfriend, girlfriend.
Okay. Yeah, as Dusty would say, they had relations. Relations.
You like that phrase?
That's how he used it. And we knew what he meant, you know. Had relations, or knew him in the biblical sense. But yeah, boyfriend, girlfriend. Well, yeah, listen, you know, we've talked about this before, and I don't want to belabor the point, but that guy with the chicken needs to set his ass down, by the way. He's really starting to bother me.
I love that you're getting chicken heat here.
Yeah, we've, and I don't want to belabor this point, but I ain't getting a girlfriend if something ever happened to Lois. No more relations for me. Look at Sting, buddy.
He's a house of fire right now, Tony.
Wow.
Couple quick questions. Here's one from Dustin. He wants to know who was booking the Horseman angle and how come they were never used as a real force to counter the NWO. Seems like the Four Horsemen would be the perfect representation of what WCW stood for.
Yeah.
Well, Dustin, they did that a few times actually.
They did,
like War Games and other times. But even when the NWO was first getting going at the biker show, the Sturgis show later this year, Flair was getting a shot. So there was lots of interaction, but no, it was never like a serious threat. But the NWO was moving merch and popping ratings, and it doesn't make sense probably to kill it in favor of the Horsemen, right?
Yeah, no, Conrad, you hit it wrong. The nail on the head with that one. Absolutely. I guess maybe this our fan thinks that the Horsemen should have been right on the front line, saying no, WCW is ours. But in reality, if you really give it some thought, the Horsemen were all self-centered about themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
They weren't worried about no promotion. So there's a million ways you could have gone with this NWO angle. I think we all agreed that at the beginning it was tremendous. It became ultra cool, but then it ran its course, and then they started to water it down. And like anything else in pro wrestling, it doesn't last. The closest to anything lasting in wrestling would be the Horsemen, and I guess the NWO. There's now the Jericho Appreciation Society, so the Inner Circle didn't even last 3 years. So everything changes. Somebody comes up with a better idea, you mull over those ideas. Here's a stinger splash. Oh, and he got the knees up.
Here's one from Pastor Tim. He says the best thing. This is a finish right here. Let's track it.
Pastor Tim.
They're standing. He's sit down on it. It's over.
Excellent match. Go out of your way to see it. We've had 3 really good ones so far. This one, the Kevin Sullivan, Chris Benoit match, the Rey Mysterio, Dean Malenko match, and a pretty damn decent Steiner match too. But Pastor Tim says the best thing about the entire show was the sweet Eddie Murphy red leather Raw inspired outfit worn by Dusty Rhodes, in contrast to Tony's straight man tuxedo. The question is this, Tony, did you ever stop and look at yourself and feel embarrassed by your lack of style when standing next to the great American fashion icon and dream Dusty Rhodes? And all seriousness, God bless you, Lois, and your loved ones, Pastor Tim.
Thanks, Pastor Tim. You're a good man, and I appreciate you always being with us. I never was, and I know you try, and my daughter Laurie tries, and Matt tries to embarrass me about what I wear on TV. I've never done that. I've never been concerned about that.
Look at this promo here.
Where the Mirage kicks in, and you're on your way to WCW's Bash at the Beach.
Whoa! Get real.
If you thought last year's Bash was awesome, this year will be nothing less than beachy. WCW presents Bash at the Beach. Sunday, July 7th, live and on pay-per-view. To order, call your cable operator now.
Yeah, baby. Little did we know that would be a historic event. And I also want to say that spot right there did nothing to sell anything. It was a terrible spot. What was I talking about?
Dusty Rhodes and his attire.
Oh, I was talking about my attire. Okay. And it's like I said, I don't think everybody always gives me grief. Everybody, not everybody. Well, Tim just did. You always do. Laurie does. Matt does. Even Lois does. If you're worrying about what the announcer is wearing during an interview, then you're looking at the wrong shit. The announcer is supposed to just be nondescript. That's why I just wear the jacket. And Laurie said, but your shoes. And I tell Laurie, you're looking at my shoes? Let's say I'm interviewing Sting, or I'm interviewing CM Punk, and you're looking at my shoes? What's wrong with you? So there, I never was embarrassed or worried about what I wore, because what I wore was not important.
Well, so there you go.
There you go. Appreciate it, Pastor Tim. And here we go. Flair and Arn Anderson.
Chase Lamar says the Giant has now beaten Sting and Luger in back-to-back pay-per-view main events. In my opinion, he continues to get better and better through 96 and 97. Why does Tony think Paul White's push suddenly came to an end in 1998 when they put him back in the NWO? It was another creative decision I hated.
Yeah.
It is true. I mean, he was over in a big-time main eventer when he started in 95 all the way through 96, had a lot of big moments in 97, but it does feel like it starts to peter. And then by 98, man, it just ain't the same.
Yeah. I think that the NWO took a life of its own.
Yeah.
Creatively, and drove. It's like, we got something great here. Let's see how we can make it greater. Oh, let's put him in the NWO. Let's put the Giant. And then when they put Dusty Rhodes in the NWO,
it was too much.
Yeah, I'm thinking we're really running out of shit here.
Yeah, too much.
Yeah. So I just think the NWO, as great as it was.
How about Bobby getting his own entrance here?
Deservedly so.
But he comes out after Flair. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
Shows you the respect that Flair has.
Yeah. And there's the business ad for him too.
Mm-hmm.
But the NWO kind of ended up eating things, don't you think? Just engulfing things. It's like that's all we thought about. That and the cruiserweights. Often wondered, and I know Sullivan was booking during then, but I often wonder how much of an input he really had with Hogan and Savage and those guys.
That's fair.
Just, hey, let me tell you this, and I'll say this, and I've often said that, and this goes back to years and years and years ago, back during George Scott, and it happens now. A good booker talks to his talent and listens to their opinions on direction, which way they should go, what they should do. Are they happy with this? If they're not, give us a suggestion, what you think you should do. And you take those, you use some, and some you don't. Good directors, there's Pepe. Pepe.
I love you. Stop for that. You're such a dog guy.
Yeah, no.
We don't mention the girls that we would nod over or whatever. No.
There's the Chihuahua. So anyway, you check with, it's kind of like, it's what they do in Hollywood. Directors, good directors will, let's say they're working with a big time star. They will talk to the star about what they feel their character should be like. And so a booker is like a good director.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's my thought on that.
Man, did Kevin Greene look like a star or what?
Yeah, man. Yes, because he was a star. He's a biggin. And the Macho Man.
It's kind of fun. Bobby Heenan as the maybe that's why you need Savage to come out last and get a big separate entrance. So it makes sense to make sure Bobby's got one too, I guess.
Right, sure.
A lot of star power in this though. Man, that cosplayer right there, he's got it down pat.
Damn right he does.
Damnation. Great job. He actually looks better tonight than Macho Man does for gear wise.
Yeah, you take a look, you have to do a double take. Is that? No.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Like, wait a minute. He wasn't wearing that a minute ago. What is this?
Yeah, man. 1996.
Big time year for WCW, man.
This is the year of the Olympics in Atlanta and the year that we would move our operations to Orlando. Fun year for us. Fun year.
After this match, which gets plenty of time, you know, I know it's a Flair match, so it's going to be long, but it's 20 minutes with Flair and Arn taking on Mongo and Kevin Greene. Meltzer actually didn't hate it too. He gave it 3.5 stars, just like Sting and Regal. But afterwards, this is where we get the whole Eric Bischoff, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall interaction. So that should be fun.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't think, I may be wrong, but as the NWO evolved, I don't think that the plan was to put Eric in the NWO at this moment.
No, I wouldn't think so either.
Look at that sign.
When did you know? I mean, we actually got this question now that we're talking about it. Let me see if I can find it.
You see that Mongo sucks?
Well, it's true.
Yeah, but those fans were, man, they put it on the fucking bed sheet. Okay.
They're committed.
They put it on a bed sheet and they were, all right, we're sitting here. When he comes out, we're going to unfurl this bed sheet with Mongo sucks on it.
This question here is from Bobby Duncan. Tony, was the announce team made aware of Eric Bischoff being power bombed? Did you know it was going to happen?
Yes.
Okay.
I did. Yeah.
Matt wants to know, what was your thought when Eric got power bombed through the table? What did you think about it?
I thought it was in the storyline. I thought it was a good blow because Eric had been the point man of trumping up WCW and running down the WWE. So to me, it was the logical thing they would do because they had come out and threatened Eric on set, right? Mm-hmm. And threatened, and Eric kept doing his stuff. And so the thing would be to powerbomb him. So I thought it was the right thing to do. You think that, who's our Mongo detractor we have? Is it Matt Coon? That doesn't like Mongo.
Oh yeah. Matt Coon hates Mongo.
Okay. So maybe it's a young Matt Coon up there. Could be.
I don't think so.
Richmond and Baltimore are not far apart.
No, he's probably got some bullshit story about what he was doing.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever go to his website?
Who?
Matt Coon's website.
No, why would I do that?
I just check out what he's doing.
You think I should?
Nah.
You're talking about where he does wrestling themes?
Yeah, where he does his school.
Oh, I didn't even know that existed. I thought it was a Facebook thing.
No, there's a website for it. I've discovered some because I have relatives that live in the Richmond area.
Oh, so you thought you could go check him out?
No, I just I know he lives, according to my relatives. Matt Coon lives, and his school is on the real posh, upscale side of Richmond.
He's in Mechanicsville.
Yeah, Mechanicsville is a suburb of Richmond.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, fans are popping for this. Now you may think that Mongo sucks.
Well, you got to remember the Horsemen are over. We're in Baltimore.
Right. Yeah, and they're doing a great job with putting Mongo over here. Orange really bumping for him really well.
All right, I'm looking at his website now. If you want to look at Macoon's website, I don't know why we're talking about this. It's MacoMusicSchool.com.
That's with 1K or 2?
1K.
MAKO.
Is this your low key way of getting a plug in for his shit?
No. You know,
Okay.
Did you see Arn when, oh God, when Kevin Greene came out, Arn just fell down. He just fell on his back. Oh, trying to
Dude,
lead.
Arn is doing everything he can to get this over.
Yeah. No, I'm not trying to put Matt Kuhn over. No, not at all. I don't know what made me think. I'll tell you what made me think about him was, again, I got relatives from Richmond that I saw at a funeral recently. And
how's everybody doing?
Everybody's fine. Everybody's great. Family's
Do
great.
they know about the geese and what you're supposed to do and not supposed to do or whatever?
Well, it's common knowledge where I grew up.
Oh, okay.
Everybody knows not to fuck with Canadian geese. That's like everybody knows you shouldn't drink and drive. Everybody in Virginia knows you don't fuck with a goose. It's like common knowledge. You want him? Yeah, okay. All right, then here we go. Look at Arm back up, still put the fist up, try to draw him into the corner.
I mean, this is a big moment right here.
Yep.
Look, calling him in.
Years in the NFL with the Rams, of course, last year making to the Super Bowl with the
I like
Steelers.
this. There you go. Now that's crazy dog. That's crazy. And that's what he gotta be doing there. You know, you can't stand around and be looking for the blip to be flying over, throwing shots at the city. This is what it's all about right now. Don't lock up with
Dude, how funny is this?
him off his feet, Kevin.
That's right. Hit and run. Ric Flair. Many times, and this is where he strutted his stuff. Yeah. And he's doing it once again.
Dude, they're not doing much wrestling right now. They're doing a lot of hot dogging and a lot of old school Southern house show stuff, but this crowd is here for it, are they not?
Well, because it's entertaining shit.
Yes.
They, you know, Flair's been a lot of things in his life, and one of them has been entertaining as shit.
Yes. Oh, I like he was setting it up like he was gonna do a 3-point stance deal with him. No, you get down and then I'll kick you in the head.
Yeah. Boom. And pretty soon the table's gonna be turned on him and he's gonna flop around for him. You know it's coming, you love it.
Flair's hometown.
Right there.
Carolina shoved him off, explode on him. That's what they gotta do. Get him too.
Flair's having a lot of fun on this show. He likes working with these guys. I'm sure he likes and would prefer to wrestle, some ring generals. Oh, I bet he's going to do a deal right here.
Look at him swinging his arms when he walks.
Oh, Macho Man runs him down. But either way, what I was trying to say is, he's having a blast working with quote unquote legitimate athletes or whatever.
Yeah. And not only that, we are having a blast calling it, and the fans are you can see it. They're having a great time.
Yes.
They're enjoying the shit out of this. Big back body drop. Man, Flair everything that's going on right now is being called by Ric Flair.
Yeah, of course.
This whole thing is being called by Ric Flair. He's calling every move. He told him to make a tag. He comes in. Just this in many ways is one of the reasons Ric Flair is one of the more amazing people that I've ever come around with, been involved with in my life, because of what he could do.
It's fun to go back and watch WCW in this era and just think about how different it's going to be in 1 year.
Yeah.
And we've done that a little bit with 96, 97, but
yeah,
we just watched a show from a couple months prior, you know, the last pay-per-view before Scott Hall and Kevin Nash were here. And it was a really, really bad show, like one of the worst ever.
Yeah.
Now they're rebounding with this one. And this show is just, by comparison, fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Chopping Flair. Bill.
Did you hear Flair call it?
I did not hear him call it. Did you hear
God,
him?
go back and listen.
Okay.
He says,
All right.
"Bill me."
All right.
I mean, it was loud too, because Jackie was right over his shoulder.
Okay.
And then you call the move. It's a Bill. So funny.
Flair would do this where he would like beg off in the corner, you know, like, oh God. It looks like he's saying no, no, no. But he's actually telling him what to do, which was so good. You could see he was talking, but you didn't know what he was saying. Now he's going to shake his head no. Just a little bit. We've seen it a million times, but we still pop for it. So right now, he's telling the referee to tell him something. See that? And Randy walks behind the referee and tells him what Flair just said. God, the coordination. Just love the business. Thank you for bringing me back, Conrad.
Woman to the eyes of Mongo. And Deborah and Tara the Wives.
So I like that story. You know, our babyface has had the Horsemen beat, but the ladies are walking down their ladies. So they break the holds, get distracted. Arn nails a DDT on Mongo. And now Flair is trying to compose himself. This is telling a pretty good story for a long match, and it's way better than I think it had any business being, really.
Yeah, again, you've got guys like Flair and Arn that can perform. You've got Mongo and Kevin Greene, who are big-time NFL stars. Look at Heenan. And so they're great athletes. Obviously, they're great athletes. So then you got Macho and Bobby Heenan on the outside. You got so many great elements to make a great match. Flair talking to him right there in his ear.
It's a shame that Mongo's still sort of down for the count. If we're able to, man, I hope that everybody goes out of their way to try to send some positive thoughts or vibes or prayers or whatever you're into. Because, man, whenever Flair posts a picture, you just can't help but feel for the guy, man.
Yeah, I know. I know. But, man, he was, in his day, one of the greats. That whole team. Flair talking to him right there. Isn't it amazing? Maybe it's not amazing, but we don't talk about it enough. Here comes the Macho Man. All right. They're protecting him at all costs. You never heard of Flair hurting anyone, did you?
No, ever.
Ever.
Hmm.
Nobody ever came out of a Flair match and said, man, he fucked up my knee, or
No, I never heard that at all.
never, no. Boom, saw that coming. I really thought, and we still use that today, but I thought as we moved along in WCW, I thought the nut shot happened too much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When guys would get punched in their penis area.
Mm-hmm. Nut shot, punch in the penis area, whatever you want to call it. You know what? You say a 20-minute match. I'm not bored by it.
No, it's decent.
Yeah.
And coming up, we've still got the two big segments. You know, we've got the Bischoff segment and then the world title. The next show, of course, is going to be Bash at the Beach in Daytona.
Yeah.
Meltzer would say it'll consist of unnamed guys versus Sting, Luger, and Savage. Conan defending the U.S. title against Flair. Giant and Sullivan versus Benoit and Anderson. And if Benoit and Anderson wins, Flair gets a shot at the Giant. Nasty Boys versus Public Enemy and a double dog collar. And he writes, they're hoping to get Dennis Rodman to be in Nasty's corner for this one, but that's far from a done deal. Plus Mysterio versus Psychosis, Bubba versus Tenta, and what's billed as a Carson City silver dollar match. McMichael versus Joe Gomez. I feel bad for Mr. Joe Gomez. Been wrestling a while at this point, and now get your big pay-per-view, but it's against a very green Mongo.
Well, here's the good news about all that. I feel sorry for him too. We're talking about the next pay-per-view. No one remembers anything else from that pay-per-view.
But the main event, yeah.
Yes, that's all they remember. So
Meltzer would say the bruises on the faces of Sullivan and Benoit on Nitro were makeup applied by Janie Engel and not actual bruises.
Okay. Wonder who stooged that off.
How the word turns. After a 2.6 rating for Nash's debut, Sullivan was totally in the doghouse to the point he wasn't even invited into a booking meeting on July 11th, and there was considerable speculation his days were numbered. By the next day, I said July, I meant June. By the next day, things were back to normal, although the word was Sullivan had to agree to give up being an active performer after his current program finishes in order to keep his booking job. Of course, after this week, he's the company hero. So I like the idea that they tell him, hey man, yeah, we'll give you the booking job, but that means you got to finish up your program and be done. Because as we know, boy, he stretches this Benoit shit out for several more months. And it was great. I enjoyed it every time.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed their Halloween Havoc show.
Yeah. It's amazing in the world of a booker, you're as good as your last show, and that's it. It's kind of like, what have you done for me lately type of bullshit. You had no room to one bad rating, and you were on the freaking outs.
Meltzer would also say the Rock and Roll Express, Psychosis, Rey Mysterio Jr., and La Parga are all scheduled for Disney tapings in July. Prince Jobber Iakea is Mike Hayner, no relation to the Iakea family, former Malenco student, and lately been training at the power plant.
He had a little bit of a run. He was a champion.
Yeah, he did fine.
Yeah.
Titan made several legal threats regarding the Hall and Nash stuff, which is why they had to admit on TV that they don't work for the WWF. Hall has contacted Henry Holmes, Hogan's attorney, to try and say that most of the mannerisms he used as Ramon, he first used as Diamond Stud, and that it was he and not WWF who came up with the name Razor Ramon, and also to get the money still remaining owed to him.
And somewhere a very young man named Mike Dawkins has not come into play yet.
Not yet.
Had he come into play,
there would have been a call.
There would have been a call. Then had he come into play, then we may have been able to use Razor Ramon.
Meltzer writes, Jeff Jarrett's Titan contract expires on October 7th, and he'll start here immediately after that. Debbie Combs will be brought in to work with Medusa.
Wow.
They're looking to sign Mysterio Jr. to a contract. Conan signed a 1-year deal. Mikey Whipwreck is looking for a job here. They couldn't do voiceovers on September 18th because nobody had put together the September 24th Nitro show for Charlotte. And apparently the plan now is to not book ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was right in the middle of that one, buddy.
Were you?
Oh, yeah.
What can you tell us about this?
Well, I can tell you that we would look at a show and I would, put a show that we would do tapings for, and we would put together a show based on the matches. And I would look at these matches and I say, look at this, Eric. Can we use this? Well, not yet. We got something we're going to do on Nitro. We can't use this. Can't use this. And it was tough because we taped 26 weeks of Worldwide and Pro. They're and I don't know where they are now. I guess they're obviously they would be in the Titan library, but Conrad, there are tons of matches that never aired.
Yeah.
that we just had to throw away. And why? Because, well, we haven't got Nitro. We haven't figured out what Nitro is yet. Or we got this planned Nitro. We're going to change things so we can't use him right yet. Or he's cut his hair, or he's dyed his hair. He looks different. He's got different tights. And why should we have him on Nitro looking like this, where in the next weekend, when the syndication shows airs, he looks or she looks completely different? It was a real disconnect. And all of a sudden, Nitro, as great as it was, and then Thunder, especially Nitro. Look at Benoit, brother. All of a sudden, Nitro, which was obviously our focus, a lot of times, as far as production people are concerned, did more harm than good. It made our job difficult. But, you know, we forged on. And therefore, if you watched, boy, Deborah looked great, didn't she?
Here she comes. Meltzer would say, at this point, Greene reversed the figure 4 while Deborah McMichael in an expensive dress came out with Woman and Elizabeth in a suitcase filled with Savage's money. She convinced Steve McMichael to turn heel. Let's track it here.
The figure 4 still on here. What are they doing here? That's a 4 Horsemen shirt.
It is money. It's a lot of money.
Boy, is that ever.
Oh, give me a break, McMichaels. Use your head here. Kevin Greene in the middle of the ring with a lot of pain, losing agony, putting on it. Just turn it over.
He's looking for a tag. Look, Kevin Greene looking for a tag, screaming for Mongo.
Mongo, drop it.
Kevin Greene.
What the hell is going on here?
Kevin Greene is out. 1, 2, 3.
So that's the story of how Mongo started carrying the Halliburton. Meltzer would say she convinced Steve McMichael to turn heel, a turn actually teased twice during the match in the commentary, as they made it clear that after a career with the Bears, McMichael played his final season with Green Bay, and he did it because they offered him more money. He hit Greene over the head with a suitcase and put Flair on top for the pin, then opened the suitcase and put on a 4 Horsemen shirt to become the 4th member of the group, giving Kevin Sullivan credit for basically laying out the particulars of this angle. McMichael was a tremendous heel presence and charisma. As long as they keep him in tags with Anderson and Benoit, he won't have to do that much in the ring to get by. But now the Horsemen are back, man, and there they are, all 4 of them. Mongo, Chris Benoit, Ric Flair, and Arn Anderson. And I know what you're thinking. Wait, well, who was the other member? Well, it was Brian Pillman, but he's famously jumped ship. He's a part of the WWF now.
Right. One thing to bring up, and I caught it. I caught it back then, and I just remembered it now. When Mongo hit Kevin Greene with the briefcase,
yeah,
Dusty threw out the famous Vince Lombardi line. That if you've seen it on YouTube, it's great. When Lombardi was walking the sidelines, the Packers were having trouble. Lombardi said, "What the hell is going on here?" And that's exactly what Dusty said during that NFL turning on the NFL player. I thought it was really cool. Good. This was an entertaining match, bro.
It told a fun story.
Bro, Daddy, Jack.
Brother Jack Daddy.
Brother Jack. Ooh. Flair talking to him as he goes down, which is one of Flair's 8 points. Boom, got the knee.
Brother Jack Daddy.
Brother
Wow.
And yes, come on, you go do it. Go ahead, do it. That's what she said. Oh, and what the hell is going on here? Flair talking to him there. Great job. He'll pat him there. See him pat him on his chest. Tell him he did a great job. Didn't need to re-show that.
I like the angle. I think it's been well done. And right now, Tony, I think we need to go ahead and press pause. I'm at 224.53, and we know what's coming. It's going to be one of the biggest and most iconic moments in wrestling history. Eric Bischoff is going to go for a ride, thanks to your old pal, old friend, big sexy Kevin Nash. But right now, Tony, it feels like it's time for us to take a time out, because if you and I are perhaps going to be given a big power bomb, we need to make sure we have some athletic greens. All right.
Yeah. Right. Let me say this. I had been taking a lot of supplements, and I mean, we're talking about a lot of capsules in the morning, the afternoon. But I wanted better gut health and more energy, wanted supplements that actually taste great. Right. So I wanted to see what the hype was about, and I started taking AG1, and that's why. And Lois and I are big into supplements, and this was right, as they say, down our alley. So Conrad, it's been great that since we've been taking it, and it tastes great, citrus taste to it, and I just now we don't have to. It's kind of like all in one for us. We don't have to take tons of capsules, which was what we did every day.
So let me explain. With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, and whole foods, super sourced superfoods. We're talking probiotics, adaptogens. It's all going to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, your recovery, your focus, your aging, all the things. And I got to tell you, this is something for everybody, whether you're just looking to make sure that, hey, I've hit the reset button and I'm trying to make sure I'm getting all the right stuff, or maybe you're trying to make sure you're not getting sick. Maybe you've been a little lethargic. Maybe you need help on your focus. Maybe you're training too hard and you think your recovery is a little slower. This is a perfect fit for all of that. It's also easy when you travel. It's easy to help you, stay healthy. And you really like the taste too, right, dude?
Really like the taste. And I tell you what else I really like about it. I like the price because it costs you less than $3 a day. $3 a day. And by that, you're investing in your health. And listen, many of you spend more than $3 a day at the coffee shop. I know you. So that I love the price because you're investing in your health. You're investing in all-in-one nutritional insurance.
This is lifestyle friendly, whether you're eating keto or paleo or vegan or dairy free or gluten free. It contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals, no artificial anything. It still tastes good, and it's going to support better sleep quality and recovery. It's going to support mental clarity and alertness. It's the one thing with all the things, right? It's Athletic Greens. They're using the best of the best based on all the latest science with all the constant product iterations and third-party testing. We just recommend it highly, but don't take our word for it. Go check it out. They've got over 7,000. That's right. 7,000 5-star reviews. They've been recommended by professional athletes. Just everywhere you go, man, it's another notch in the belt for Athletic Greens. So right now it's time for you to reclaim your health and your immune system. Let's arm it with a convenient daily nutrition, right? It's 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for, like Tony was saying, a million different pills or supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/WHW. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/WHW to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. That's athleticgreens.com/WHW. And Tony, right now I'm at 224.53. And when you're there, if you'll give us a countdown, we'll watch your old pal Eric Bischoff get fucked up.
Let's do that in 3, 2, 1, play.
Has been the answer to the challenge made on WCW Monday Nitro. Let's go to Eric Bischoff right now. Eric, can you believe this?
Thanks, guys. Incredible turn of events, to say the very least. But many of you know that for the last several weeks, since May 27th, as a matter of fact, we've had a number of, let's just call them interruptions on Nitro. I know. And if you were with us last week, I pointed out that tonight, these guys want an answer. We're prepared right now to give them an answer. They know who they are. I know they're here. Come on out, guys.
How about the crowd reacting? No music, which is a nice touch. Doesn't make it feel like they're not supposed to be there. But I don't like that they came out from the back. I wish that it came from the crowd.
Let's do it. All right, I promise you an answer. That's what you're here for. We've got some questions we've got to resolve before we do all that. Right off the bat, I want to let you know right here, right now. I was in the WCW offices, debated. You want a match, you want a war, you want it inside of the ring, you're going to get it. I fell into the trap, big man. Okay. Hold on. I got couple considerations here. Before we go a whole lot further, I will tell you it'll be at Bash at the Beach, July 7th in Daytona. I'm free. But before we go any further, hold on. Before we go any further, let's clear one thing up. Do you work for the WW? No. About it? No. Forget about the past, Chico. Let's worry about the future. We want to know who your three guys are. Is it the Nacho Man? I don't think so. And what about the immortal Huckster? You know, you tell billionaire Ted to break out the money and get anybody you can, because the big man and the medium-sized man and our surprise buddy are gonna carve them up. I want to ask you a question right now. He's had his say. Who are they, man? Who are they? I can't tell you. I'll tell you tomorrow night on Nitro. That's the deal. You can't tell us? You don't jack us around. Don't jack. Oh, for Christ! Whoa! What are they doing? Security! Get up there right now. Get security up there. Unbelievable. Please get it. Unbelievable. This is sick. Yeah. Tony, I got it. Hold on. Where's he at? He's right down below us here. Oh my God. We're going to need some medical attention right now. Yes. Right now, ladies and gentlemen. Big boys. They just left the building. They get these guys off here. Let this thing off. Can we have some medical? This is sick. Eric Bischoff, of course, the host of Nitro, executive producer and WC. Please, would someone get over to? All right, now they're bringing the stretcher. Jesus. Well, they got to be.
That's David Crockett.
David and Doug.
Man holding a microphone for crying out loud. Yeah. How cheap and how low can you get? Well, and now Chuck Taché is coming out.
Well, they wanted to make a statement. I guarantee you they did. Unbelievable here at WCW. Eric Bischoff down.
Fans, I can tell you that as we take a look at Eric, and certainly we will hopefully find out. The last thing Eric said that we will let them know about the war and who they will have to face tomorrow night on Nitro, and we're not so sure about Eric's. I don't know what to say.
Well, I'll tell you what to say. This thing here now has escalated. If you know what I'm talking about, Tony.
Escalated.
A real war situation. That's uncalled for. That's unbelievable.
All right, I'm gonna go down there.
Oh, you're checking. Okay. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Tony's going down there right now. Eric Bischoff. I'll tell you what. We're the big boys play at WCW. So much has been said about our situation. People coming in, people going. But coming in here with Eric Bischoff, like him or not, bottom line, right here, and driving him off the stage into a table. That's uncalled for. So they wanted a wall. They talk about, let's have a wall. You get three guys, we get three guys. Well, I'm an old man, guys. Let me tell you something. The bottom line in this situation here, there are plenty of guys at WCW that will be ready for this wall right here. What a scene we have seen here at the Great American Bash. And the thing with McMichaels and the Horsemen, I'll tell you what. Let's go to the ring. David Pinter takes this. I don't know, man.
A great moment, great segment.
Yeah.
Meltzer would say, then came those two large, dreaded, nameless heels known as We Know Who They Are. The men with no name came out to a big baby face pop. Then, as a way to avert a threatened lawsuit, both men said clearly they don't work for the World Wrestling Federation and said to forget about the past and talk about the future. After Bischoff accepted the challenge and announced the match for Bash at the Beach, Scott Hall punched Bischoff in the stomach and Kevin Nash powerbombed him through a table. This got a babyface pop amongst some fans, but left others pretty much stunned. It was so great as Schiavone left the broadcast position and Rhodes did a strong unity of the promotion interview. The fans still mainly cheered Hall and Nash when they left. And now here comes our challenger for the main event. He's wearing the TV title around his waist. He's carrying one of the tag titles that he shares with Sting. And of course, the Giant is going to be on the other side here, sporting the big gold belt.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to follow this too. In a way, but you know what? I think the positioning was right. I don't think you could have followed what happened right here with the Ric Flair thing.
No.
So I think this is the right thing to do here. We could have put it earlier in the show.
I think this is,
you think the timing is perfect in the show?
Well, because in theory, this isn't going to be a long match.
Right. We got 15 minutes to go in the show. 15 minutes to go in the show, and we got credits and the wrap up and everything. So,
but Meltzer did say exactly what you said. They had no chance following what had gone on.
Right.
But that's not just this last segment, but everything that's happened so far. I mean, this is a tall ask. I think, it is Baltimore, so it is, a quote unquote WCW town, but it's really a Flair and Horseman town.
Yes.
And my goodness, would have been huge to have that finish, because you saw the fans just going absolutely bananas for the Horseman beatdown.
Yeah.
And everybody's on their feet right now. I mean, this has a big fight feel. Everybody remembers that Lex Luger is a former WCW world champion. And obviously the Giant is a presence like no other in wrestling at this point. And it's been quite a show so far, man. These folks got their money's worth. One of the best reviewed WCW pay-per-views of all time. And I don't think people even really talk about it beyond the powerbomb, but badass Steiner's match, badass Regal and Sting match, really fun main event, nice little skit there with what would become the NWO, and the freaking debut of Rey Mysterio and the women in the bathroom. Unbelievable.
And you know what? No Hulk Hogan again on a pay-per-view, because he had a limited number of pay-per-view shows he was going to do. And in hindsight, when you think about that, because he was such a big draw, he really was. He still was a big draw. I know you've talked to Eric about this. Maybe we should have not given him everything he wanted and held firm and steady to, you've got to be on all our pay-per-views. Just a thought. Then you look at the card and you think, where would he have fit, right?
Yeah.
And that's a question in itself. But we have all these, and you don't see Hogan around, who's still the biggest star in the business. So, and of course, now we're in the time. Listen, between the Great American Bash and Bash at the Beach, June, July, we're in that area where they're trying to talk Hogan into turning heel. And he gave a lot of pushback from what I understand. I know you and Eric talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting time in wrestling for many reasons. But the fact that Hogan is not, and stop me if I'm wrong here, okay? The fact that Hogan is not convinced he should turn heel, and they're doing a lot of talking to him to get him to turn heel.
Yeah.
So interesting time.
Because he's off making a movie right now that I don't know if it's Santa with muscles or what, but he's making some movie right now, because it's around this time when Eric went out and made the visit, and I guess Hulk sort of said, "Hey man, come talk to me." Because I guess he had pitched it a while before and just been sort of blown off.
Mm-hmm.
And now maybe Hogan saw the execution of not just Hall, but Nash and thought, that's the money train coming. I need to jump on that.
Right. But from what I understand, still the day of the event, he was not confident or he was not sure. And I guess it's something we could talk about later, but because we should probably maybe give this match a little bit more attention. And that's why when Hogan came out, Bash the Beach, and they said, did you know? And I went, no, I didn't. I know they had discussed it, but they had discussed a lot of things.
This is a fun dynamic here because, the story is clearly, he's a giant, but this is one of the biggest baby faces and one of the strongest baby faces. And the story clearly is, how can Luger even use his finishing maneuver, the rack, on such a large human being?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we know that the giant can, anytime he wants, choke slam the hell out of Lex Luger.
Right.
And of course, once upon a time, Luger was certainly flirting with the Dungeon of Doom. And, is he with Sting? Is he a baby face? Is he a heel? Is he siding with Jimmy Hart? What's the reality? And now this is sort of the payoff for that. But I think the story is less about that to me and more about, hey man, from just a physical standpoint, could Luger even technically use his finishing maneuver on this guy?
Yeah.
If you had a finish, Tony, what would your finish be? Like if you were going to be a wrestler,
mm-hmm.
What would your finish be?
Tope con hero.
Is that over the top rope?
Yeah, it's flipping over the top rope, I do believe. Landing on him. Rolled him into the ring. 1, 2, 3. Wait a minute, somebody's coming in.
Oh, yes. Oh, hello there, Jimmy. I tell you what, everybody wants to fight. And goodbye, Jimmy. Yeah. Hit him with a big foot on the head. There you go. Running through the. There you go.
So just like that, Jimmy Hart is gone.
Do you like Luger better as a heel or babyface?
By the way, Meltzer says this.
Right.
Sting ended up chasing Jimmy Hart away from the ring.
Mm.
It was a dead match with only one good thing to note. With Giant on the top rope, Luger bent down a little and got him on his shoulders for the rack. He then collapsed under the weight, and Giant pinned him with a choke slam, 1.25 stars. Unbelievably, this is the second worst rating of the whole show. A show that had a 20-minute Mongo match.
Right.
I guess Ric Flair was in there too.
Yeah, the old adage is, right, you send them home happy.
Yeah.
And if the heel goes over here, I guess, and it's only a 1.25 star match or whatever it was, then they're not going home happy. So, but I think the fans left this. We all left this thinking, it was a good show because it was. So, do you like Luger better as a heel or babyface?
I liked him better as a baby.
Okay.
What about you?
Well, he came across. I thought he had a kind of a heel persona in the back, very aloof, very.
Oh, for sure. I'm not saying he didn't do better. I'm just saying as a kid, I remember Sting, Lex Luger, and the Steiners being my favorites.
Yeah. Well, I think we even mentioned this last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. Luger looked like a human action figure.
Mm-hmm.
And so kids drew to that. What a story. His whole life, what a story. And what about the giant, Paul White here? How about a guy his size and the longevity he's had in the business? I know he's had some hip replacements and some surgeries and everything, and he's doing some commentary for us now, and I think he's doing a great job. I think Paul White's going to end up being a very good commentator. And
that's great to hear, man.
And the reason is he wants to be a great commentator, and he works hard, and he asks for feedback all the time. Just really a pleasure to work with. And it's amazing. I think I mentioned this on an earlier podcast. The Paul White that I knew there, the young brash kid out of South Carolina, and now the seasoned veteran Paul White that I know now, they look different, obviously, because of the age, but they are not the same person as far as their approach to the business. It's quite startling, and I enjoy it. He's the wily old veteran that can give kids advice, and why not? Because Big Show had a hell of a run in the WWE, didn't he? 3, 2, 1, didn't he?
He did.
Oh, there you go.
Not to lay heavy on your mind, Tony. It's got to change your game plan a little bit. No question. He's going to try to get him up. He got him up, but down. This could be it. 1, 2.
I like the story they're telling here. I know that Meltzer didn't dig it, but it's really basic. It's really 80s, but the idea that, hey, he's strong enough to pick him up, but the weight just overcomes him and he falls on him. That's good stuff. And they teased, the finish with the body slam version.
Well, if you don't know Tenryu, then what the fuck are you?
Wow. In fairness, Dave Meltzer's forgot more about wrestling than you and I would ever know.
No argument on this end.
Just saying. It's weird that people don't believe that. I mean, read his stuff. The dude studies it, loves it. I mean, no debating it.
Yeah, the last newsletter I read, and I get them, I subscribe to them, but I don't read them. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I send them to Laurie, my daughter. She reads them. But the last one I read, I kept going through it thinking, there's some effort put into this. My God.
So much.
Unbelievable.
And he does it every week.
Yeah, every week. It is truly mind-boggling, the effort that is put into that. And it's not just wrestling anymore, right?
No.
It's UFC. It's all that stuff.
If it's a contact sport, he's going to touch on it.
Yeah. I guess I should have gotten into UFC, MMA a little bit more. I don't know. It just wasn't for me.
You watched one with us here before, I think.
Sure did. I watched, and didn't we watch the Conor McGregor fight against a boxer?
Oh, yeah. Floyd.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Floyd and McConnor. Yeah, we watched that.
We watched that at Michael Hayes' house, actually.
That's right. We did.
Because it was after a wedding at your place.
Yeah. That's right. And, yes. As a matter of fact, and then knowing that Michael Hayes is a big Braves fan.
You took him a Tom Glavine ball, right?
Right. That Denzel chews up. He said, Denzel chewed that up. And I said, you stupid son of a bitch. I said, you're dumber than the fucking dog.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Denzel chewed it up. An legit autograph baseball from Tom Glavine, because I handed it to Tom to sign. Yeah.
Which was worth immediately hundreds of dollars.
Well,
AKA and a gift, but AKA my dog chewed up your gift worth hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, well, the monetary value is not what it's about.
No, I understand. I'm just saying, let's bury Michael Hayes as hard as we can here.
Yeah, we should, because he's a fucking goof.
Hey.
Denzel chewed up the ball. Well, really? Why didn't he just chew up your ear instead?
Well,
by the way,
said, well, fuck you, Michael.
Yeah.
And then he just said, Tony, it'll be fuck you long before it's fuck me.
No, it won't. By the way, Conrad and I just watched, Michael. We just watched the Freebirds return to Atlanta, and guess what? Buddy Roberts and Bam Bam Gordy look good. You look like shit. Here it is. Here's the move.
Couldn't do it. No. He had him. Luger went right face down, right from all the way 450, 470 pounds, right down on his noggin, right down on his head. Couldn't do it. But by golly, he gave it an effort, and I think had it not been for all the wearing down the Giant had done, he could have done it. You know? Uh-oh. Well, it all comes down to one hold, one maneuver. The choke slam. It was. There it was. The Giant rolls him up. 2, 3. Still the heavyweight champion of the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner.
Well, fans,
and still
on this Father's Day in 1996, we have seen everything.
Champion of the world.
Lex Luger gives it a valiant effort, but just too much wear down.
An unbelievable performance. I thought it was a fantastic show. WCW really on their A game here. I got to say, man, this was one of the better shows we've watched. I loved it. And next week we keep the good times on track for Great American Bash 1997. So as fun as this was to go back and relive, we're going to skip forward a whole year to 1997 and do it again next week, Tony.
Yeah, we're going to be in the throngs of the NWO at this time. And you know, I agree with you in that I know Dave Meltzer and probably a lot of fans shit on this match, but it told a great story, didn't it? Trying to get the Giant up.
Yep.
For the torture rack, and he collapsed, and there you go. And so it all kind of didn't work out. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed everything about it. Even the matches that weren't that good,
still pretty good.
We're still pretty good. Like Avalanche or John Tenta versus Big Bubba. They only gave him 5 minutes, and they did what they could in 5 minutes. Right. So there you go.
And we hope that even our less than awesome shows are still pretty good, but we'll find out next week, because right now, Tony, it looks like it's about that time.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is about that time, and here comes Michael Hayes and Denzel going in the ring against Dave Silva. And Denzel is chasing Silva around the ring. And let me go down there with a microphone. Michael, yeah. Why is Denzel chasing Dave Silva around the ring? Well, because he smells like bacon. We're desperately out of time. See you next week on What Happened When. We come to you Wednesdays on Cumulus, and that is nationwide. But on Mondays, for our great fans, our great supporters, our slapdicks, we come to you on
Patreon, patreon.com/WHW Monday. And of course, adfreeshows.com.